Welcome, everybody, to Delete Laws. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate it so much. How is everybody doing on this glorious, glorious day? How is everything going out there? Good to see you, Daryl. Good to see you, James. What's going on, Gregor? Kevin, how are you, buddy? What is going on? Victor, how are you, my friend? Fish in Syndicate. What is going on? Cope Doggy Dog. Vendetta. What is going on, everybody? Well, every day people send me videos and I see different videos. Rocco, God bless you, man. Thank you for coming. Red Light, thank you. Everybody, do me a favor and hit the like button. It'll just take you 2 seconds to take your finger, reach down there and tap that likety like button. It's that thumbs up looking thing down there. It's pretty silly. But we're playing in the game of social media companies are ran by the FBI and the CIA. So I hit the like button and then type in the comment section, if you would please, OTVO, which stands for Overturn Terry versus Ohio. Let's get into this a little bit. And then in about 5 minutes, I'm going to come in here and talk about it. The mic is muted right now for the... I'll give you a little bit of a setup. These people are sitting in the parking lot of Starbucks. That's their entire deal. Everything you're going to see right now is from a mother and a daughter sitting in a parking lot at Starbucks. And of course, the Jackboot Thug Pigs, they got to investigate that. They're going to say they got a call or, someone called on them or they've been there for too long. Someone called them and said, we saw people in a parking lot over here. Is that right? Is that right? Lenny, let's get into it.
Hi. How are you?
Hi is for suckers. Hi is for people who don't know that the pigs are trying to arrest you. I'm so sorry. I said I would take 5 minutes. I guess I won't. I guess I'll take a little shorter time than that. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. When the cop walks up and knocks on your window and you're not driving the car, that would mean you're not having a driving violation. It's a non-driver violation if they're going to accuse you of a violation. You immediately invoke your Fifth Amendment. As soon as the cop walks up and knocks on your car window, you just reach up to your visor right there and you put this right on your glass. I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Stop saying hi and hello to pigs. The pigs want to take you to a dungeon. The pigs want to take you to jail. Their goal is to arrest you, impound your car, and steal your money. So someone knocking on the door, their goal is to arrest you, impound your car, and steal your money. You're going to roll down the window and say, hi, hi, hi. What are you saying hi for? April, why are you saying hi to that Jackboot Thug Pig? He tapped on your window and his goal is to arrest you. His goal is to somehow take the money out of your wallet. His goal is to impound your vehicle. His goal is to drag you off to a dungeon. His goal is to have a physical altercation with you so that after it's over, he can then go over to his other buddies and say, yeah, man, he got out and he did this and then I tased him. Or he got out and he did this and I told him to put his arms behind his back and then I grabbed his arm and I jacked it up, man. I jacked his arm up. Yeah, bro. But last I checked, I beat up most every man I've ever fought. So I got in the mat a few times, got my ass handed to me. There's always someone tougher. However, he can't wait to tell the story of how he jerked your arm up behind your back and put you in the torture cuffs. Tap, tap, tap. What does a knock on the window mean? Someone's trying to arrest you. I put it in the chat. If a cop knocks on your window, he's trying to arrest you. Knock on the window equals he's trying to arrest you. He's trying to have you help him arrest you. Hi? You're going to say hello to the cop? Tap. Why are you saying hello? What's so hello today? What's so hi? Oh, you're the pig with the badge and a stick and a taser and torture cuffs? Oh, hello, little piggy. Oh, hi, you knocking on my window? You're just here for a welfare check? Oh, I'm so happy you're here. If they knock on the window, the cop is trying to arrest you. Why are you saying hello? What's wrong with you? You see me. Do I say hello? No, I don't. Everybody hit the like button. Hit the like button, everybody. Hit the like button. Do it right now. I do, Dr. Donna. I have full control over my other channel. I'm sorry for jumping in on this so quickly, but it just makes me so mad when people say hello to pigs who are trying to arrest them.
You.
So let's go back here. Ready? Listen carefully. Ready? Pig tapping means he's trying to arrest you. That's a Jackboot Thug Pig tapping on your door. He's trying to arrest you. How are you going to respond to that? She's going to respond to it by looks like she was relaxing, having a nice day in the Starbucks parking.
Hi. How are you?
Hi, I'm glad you're here to arrest me. I'm glad you're here to try to impound my car and take me to a dungeon. What are you saying hello for?
You. Hi. What are you guys doing here?
Waiting to go to Starbucks in a second. Why? Is there a problem? We can't sit here?
Well, actually, let me tell you why I'm here. Okay? I've been having auto break-ins in this parking lot every morning around this time.
Thank you.
Put a 1 in the chat if you don't believe this Jackboot Thug Pig. If he picked out a black woman in a car who happened to be in a handicap space and decided to ruin her day.
So I've been driving around here, okay? And I noticed that you guys aren't doing nothing but hanging out.
Yeah, I just got in from Vegas.
So, okay, well that.
This morning, I've been driving all night.
Okay.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What is she doing? Rago Monkey is here, everybody. I love this guy's channel. I just see you in here, Rago. Where you at? I just saw Rago Monkey in here, didn't I? Where's Rago Monkey? I just seen him. I know, as I just saw him. There he is. There's Rago Monkey right there. Everybody get over to this guy's channel and check it out. Got a badass channel. Rago Monkey. Some of the moderators can drop his link in the chat. There's only a few people I watch, and he's one of them. So when the cop comes up to your window and says, I've had a lot of break-ins in this area. Let's listen to the words that the Jackboot Thug Pig said again.
So I've been driving around here.
So I've been driving around here. I saw you in the car enter. That's what he's really thinking. Let's be honest.
Okay. And I noticed that
you had an enter daughter.
You guys aren't doing nothing but hanging out.
And you're not doing anything. And in his mind, just so you know, these dumb Jackboot Thug Pigs, they believe that they're doing society some good. You're just sitting in a parking lot for a couple hours. You're a loser. I need to investigate you. And because I can use Terry versus Ohio and walk up to you and say, I'm reasonably suspicious because there's been car break-ins here. Well, when was it? Was it today? No. But there's been car break-ins here. What? There's been... look outside in your driveway. Look outside in your parking lot, wherever you are. There's been car break-ins there. So the Jackboot Thug Pig can walk up to you anytime he wants and say, yeah, I think, there's been break-ins over here. And you are an enter, and so is your daughter. And that's how the cops see them. I'm sorry. Police were created to destroy black communities. And that now, does it apply to all of us? Put a 1 in the chat. If it's no longer just the blacks, put a 1 in the chat. If these Jackboot Thug Pigs, if their goal is to ruin all of us, to get us all locked up. And how many times they say, I can take you to jail for that? I can't believe when he says this.
I've been having auto break-ins in this parking lot every morning around this time.
Thank you very much.
So I've been driving around here. Okay. And
I plead the 5th Amendment.
Noticed that you guys aren't doing nothing but hanging out.
Yeah, I just got in from Vegas.
So, okay. Well,
this morning, I've been driving all night.
Okay.
Why are you talking?
8 hours to get here.
Well, relax. That's my reason why I'm talking to you.
I'm here, so
okay.
His reasonable articulable suspicion is there's been break-ins in that parking lot before. When? Today? Did it say a black woman and a younger black woman were the two people doing the break-ins? Is that what happened today? No. He was driving around and saw them and said, oh, there's a couple blackies. Think I'm going to jump on them. And he does.
Rent a car from the Bay Area from Oakland.
Okay.
Just because it's got Nevada plates. It's not a
Nevada car.
No, I'm not Nevada. I'm
You have your ID on you?
Yeah. Okay, so wait a minute. Now, why did you ask me for my ID? You just explained to me about the break-in.
Right.
But why did you explain to me about the my ID? What's that about? What did I do? What kind of crime did I commit?
You don't say any of those words, not a single one. Since you're not driving, then you slip out your 5A cop card, Fifth Amendment cop card, non-driver. Cop said he has reasonable number 4. Look at number 4. Cop says he has reasonable articulable suspicion. While filming, you state, I plead the Fifth Amendment. I identify as good citizen. No IDs required. That's all you state. You can tell him, hey, pig, the law's in blue. Hibble versus Nevada says, I don't got to give you ID. It says, I only have to state how I identify. I just told you. I identify as good citizen. That's it. Every word you say will lead you to a dungeon. Every word you talk to that Jackboot Thug Pig will lead you to a dungeon.
What kind of crime did you commit?
Yeah, I'm asking you. I'm asking you for my ID.
Yeah, you have to give me your ID.
Why do I have to give you my ID?
Why?
I don't have to give you my ID because I have.
It's on the 5A cop card, non-driver. It's also in your trifold that you don't have to give ID without probable cause.
I did anything. You started talking about a break-in.
Okay.
I thanked you for informing me that.
Right.
I informed you that I'm resting because I'm about to go into Starbucks, right?
Mm-hmm.
I informed you I've been driving all night, right?
Well, Starbucks has been open for about 2 hours.
It's actually been open since 5. I checked my GPS. Okay.
Are you doing anything wrong?
No, I'm not.
So then what's the big deal?
I don't have to give you my ID. I'm not doing anything
Yeah,
wrong.
you do.
No,
And now it's an ego contest because she didn't use literature and her camera. Now it's an ego contest. The cop and his beta male chump ass baby nuts is all but hurt.
No, I don't. No,
You don't?
I know the law. I don't have to give you my ID. I'm not doing anything wrong. I have not did anything wrong.
So
I've not did anything wrong.
So what you're doing now is leading me to believe that you might be doing something wrong.
No, I'm not doing that.
By her invoking her Fourth Amendment right from unlawful seizure of her identification, this Jackboot Thug Pig says she's doing something wrong. That's crazy. If she had
So don't try to trump up no charges. I saw like get your phone out, start recording. Start recording right now.
you start what?
So don't try to trump up no charges. I saw like get your phone out, start recording.
Get your phone out and start recording the moment the pig taps on your window.
Start recording right now, honey. I'll take get on the phone. Get on the phone.
Why are you getting so worked up?
Because I gotta have protection.
Because you're violating her rights, you pig.
Because I don't know where this is about to go. I gotta have protection.
Well, it's not going to go anywhere if you cooperate. So you see this thing right here?
We're not doing anything.
So this is my camera. Everything's being recorded.
Exactly, and I'm not doing anything. That's what did you hear me tell my daughters? Start recording as well.
That's fine. They can record all day.
Yeah.
So why are you making this a big deal?
Because I haven't did anything.
You said you're a local resident, or you're from here.
I said I'm originally from here.
Okay.
That's what I just told you.
Well, this could be a completely positive encounter.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm not going
It's not though. You're intruding on her, bro. You're treading on her.
to give you my ID because I haven't done anything.
Okay.
Call Annika right now.
Do you have a valid driver's license?
Yes, I do. Yes,
Okay.
I do.
You don't have to answer that question. The fifth, okay. You plead the Fifth Amendment and you film that you've pled the Fifth Amendment and you show the literature on your trifold that you've pled the Fifth Amendment because the trifold's in your visor.
Be in this car if I didn't. I can't rent a car without a valid driver's license. Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, I don't know that if you rented this car, right?
Well, what does that have to do? Did we commit a crime?
No, we didn't.
Right?
Okay.
What do you mean it's an ID?
So are you going to refuse to give me your ID?
I am.
Absolutely, but she shouldn't have said the words. She should have showed the literature and showed it on camera.
Because I haven't done anything. Call your superior. Call your supervisor.
I don't have to do that.
Yes, you do have to do that. Make sure you record that because I'm going. As soon as I leave here, I'm going to 150th and I'm going to the sheriff's department.
That's
And what
fine.
is your name? Give me your information.
I'll give you a card when we're done.
Yeah, exactly. We got it. Okay, good. I'm going straight there. Straight there. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
We're being harassed for nothing. We're being harassed for nothing.
They
it's
are.
not harassment.
Yes, it
Yes,
is.
it is.
Harassment. Yes, it is.
Yes, it
I
is.
have not did anything.
Okay, hold
She
on.
hasn't.
Can you explain this situation about the break-ins. We told you we just got in town, and you're still trying to tell us about an ID for what?
Right.
We haven't done anything. Did
Okay.
we break into
He just wants to push his authority.
something?
No.
Okay.
No. Someone called and said that this car broke into that something. No, they didn't.
Did someone tell you this is a car you need to look out for?
Okay.
Exactly. No one did.
Well, guess what? I'm not in any rush. I can hang out here till you want to give me your ID.
I'm not. I want you to call your sheriff. I want you to call me or call your superior, your supervisor. I'm asking for a supervisor right now.
Sir, use the restroom, please.
I sell it.
Well, hold on.
Call 911. Call 911.
What is going on here?
Oh my God. So what have we been trained to do since kids? When someone's attacking you, bullying you, and harassing you, listen to the fallback of the brainwash and the indoctrination that we learned in school.
Superior, supervisor. I'm asking for a supervisor right now.
Sir, use the restroom, please.
I sell it.
Well, hold on.
Call 911. Call 911.
She's going to call more of the Jackboot Thug Pigs who are his best friends, that they've sworn allegiance to the blue line, that they will back each other up no matter what you do. I will always back you up no matter what you do. You could be on top of someone beating them. They're bleeding out. I'll jump on their legs for you.
What is going on here?
I'm going to call the police. I'm going to call the police.
He is the police, honey. Your indoctrination is showing. Just like I taught you about Uvalde. You got 18 cops right outside the door. 18 police were directly outside the door in Uvalde. And what mantra had they learned? What indoctrination had they learned in Uvalde? 18 cops standing outside of the door. Hundreds there. What are they doing? They're arresting parents. That's what they're doing. They're putting the parents in torture cuffs because the parents are trying to get in the building to save their children. They can hear the gunshots going off. Indoctrination is very real. You're reprogramming as you spend a couple hours a day with me. Every time I tell you the cop's goal is to pull you over, impound your car, take you to the dungeon, and steal your money, you have to repeat that mantra to every other person you know, because this woman here is still taught that she needs to call 911 when someone's harassing her and abusing her. She fell back into the indoctrination. Now parallel that with the 18 pigs outside the door in Uvalde. They hear the kids getting executed. Every meeting they go to, every get together for the pigs that they have annually, you know, the great big cop city they're trying to build in Atlanta, when they all get in the same room together, they just sit down and suck each other off and say, officer safety, officer safety, officer safety. That's why they didn't go in Uvalde. And that's why the same woman she's doing here, her indoctrination is showing where she wants to call the cops to help her. The cops are going to hurt her.
I'm going to call the police.
No, we're not doing that. Okay, everyone in this car is detained. You can go back in the car and wait, or you can go in handcuffs and go in my car.
She's not going to go. I said, just get in the car. We're not detained.
Yeah.
I'm calling the police right now on you. I'm calling the police on you.
What kind of
Because you came up here and harassed me.
This is why the police.
Exactly.
Yeah, everyone in this.
We haven't done anything. Sit down.
Just sit in the car.
Hi, I
Just
need
sit
to
in
get
the car.
a police officer immediately to the Starbucks in Castro Valley. I'm being
Dirty
harassed
one.
by
You may be
an
getting in the car
individual
from
that's
an
saying
unhappy
they're
guy.
sheriff. Starbucks.
No, we're not doing that. Okay, everyone in this car is detained. You can go.
Everybody's in the car is detained. Where's that come from? You mean you pull somebody over, now everybody in the car is detained? That comes from the 1997 holding of Maryland versus Wilson. And in Maryland versus Wilson, the wonderful Supreme Court that we all love so much. Facts of the case. After a Maryland cop stopped the speeding car, which was riding a nervous Wilson, was ordered to step out. As he did, a quantity of chemicals fell on the ground. When arrested for possession of chemicals with intent to distribute them, Wilson challenged the manner in which the evidence against him was obtained. After Baltimore County Circuit Court ruled to suppress the evidence against Wilson, Maryland appealed to Maryland's Court of Special Appeals, which affirmed. The Supreme Court granted Maryland certiorari. Constitutional question. Did Maryland state trooper violate the Fourth Amendment search and seizure guarantees by ordering Wilson, a mere passenger in the suspected vehicle, to exit the vehicle? Let's take a look by ideology. There it is, the conservatives again. Screw us every time. Oh yeah, you want to get conservative Supreme Court personnel. No, but look over here on the left. There's Breyer. The only one who dissents is Stevens. Oh, I'm sorry. And Kennedy. Kennedy's a liberal No, okay. So let me ask it again. Did the cop violate the Fourth Amendment by ordering Wilson out of the car, a mere passenger? No. The court held that after lawfully stopping a speeding vehicle, an officer may order its passengers to step out. While burdening their personal liberty somewhat, officers must be permitted such authority over passengers if the overriding government interest is in officer safety to be protected. If this case right here, Maryland versus Wilson, guess what the jurisprudence is based on? Take a guess what it is. How do you think this case is possible? Just go ahead and starts with a T, has a V, has an O. How do you think Maryland versus Wilson was able to be passed? How do you think it was? How do you think it came to be? Well, you have a big clue here, and we all know the three tenets of Terry. If the overriding government interest is in officer safety to be protected, this is an extension of Terry versus Ohio.
Straight there.
Okay, so
We're being harassed for nothing. We're being harassed for nothing.
it's not harassment.
Yes, it is harassment. Yes, it is. I have not did anything.
Okay, hold on, because you explained us the situation about the break-ins. We told you we just got in town, and you're still trying to tell us about an ID for what?
Right.
We haven't done anything. Did
Okay.
we break-ins or something?
No.
Okay.
No. Someone
Therefore,
called and
we
say
don't have
that
to
this
show
car
ID.
broke into not something. No, it didn't.
Did someone tell you this is a part you need to look out for?
Okay.
Exactly. No one did.
Well, guess what?
No.
I'm not in any rush. I can hang out here till you want to give me your ID.
I'm not. I want you to call your sheriff. I want you to call me or call your superior, your supervisor. I'm asking for a supervisor right now. I sell it.
Well, hold on.
Call 911. Call 911.
What
Everybody
is
in the
going
car
on
is
here?
detained.
I'm gonna call the police. I'm gonna call
Okay.
the police.
No, we're not doing that. Okay, everyone in this car is detained. You can.
For officer safety, for Terry versus Ohio. The overriding interest of the government is for officer safety. You read it yourself.
Go back in the car and wait, or you can go in handcuffs and go in my car.
She's not gonna go. I tell her just get in the car. We're not detained.
Yeah.
I'm calling
Did you hear the options?
Or you can go in handcuffs and go in my car.
Torture cuffs. Please put torture cuffs in the comments. She can go in torture cuffs. Either you'll do as I say or I'll torture you.
Not gonna go. I tell her just get in the car. We're not detained.
Yeah.
I'm calling the police right now on
Okay.
you. I'm calling the police on you because you came up here and harassed me.
This is why the police.
Exactly.
Yeah, everyone
no,
in this-
we haven't done anything. Sit down. and
Just
tell her.
sit in the car.
Hi, I
Just
need
sit
to
in
get
the car.
a police officer immediately to the Starbucks in Castro Valley. I'm being
Dirty one,
harassed
Adam.
by
You may be
an
getting a car
individual
from
that's
an
saying that
unhappy
they're a sheriff
contact.
for
Just
no
FYI.
apparent reason. For no apparent reason. I don't even know if they are or not. I was sitting in my vehicle. I had dozed off for a second. Was going to go into Starbucks, and
Negative,
all of a sudden I
they're
get
just
a knock
The
on
cell
my
phone
window,
filming type and
and the
they're on the phone
individual
with
starts
911.
talking about break-ins, and I'm
You
like,
hear what he said?
knock
The
on
cell-
my
Listen to what this pig says. Listen very carefully. You can hear the pig.
vehicle. I had dozed off for a second. Was going to go into Starbucks, and all of
Negative,
a sudden I
they're
get
just
a knock
The
on
cell
my
phone
window.
filming type and
They're the cell phone filming type. Put a 1 in the chat if you're a cell phone filming type. Put a 1 in the chat if the moment you see a pig, you start filming that pig. Do you? I do.
The
They're on the phone
individual
with
starts
911.
talking about break-ins, and I'm like, what? And then I was like, okay. I sell it.
Okay, sit in the car or you're going in handcuffs. I'm not dealing with this.
You're not dealing with what, bro? They've done no crimes. They've done nothing wrong. You're not dealing with anything but being a pig.
You can sit you can sit in the car. You can sit in the car. Last option, last chance. Sit in the car, you're going to handcuffs.
Handcuffs for what?
Handcuffs for what? She asked
31
us
Adam.
for
Start us up there.
That was one of the things. You're being really
calling
too
him back
excessive
up.
right about now. You're
calling-
being real excessive right now.
He's calling
That's
him
one of
back
the
up.
reasons why we
Okay.
stopped here too. For me to get coffee, and I was telling her to get up so she could go to the restroom. Oh no, you're not going to do that. You're not going to violate and victimize us.
31
Oh, no,
we
he
just
is.
occupy times 3.
What if she
We got 2 of them out of the car just running all around, filming us, impeding the
I
investigation.
have an individual here. Hello?
Do you have an
I
answer?
am in Castro
Do you have
Valley
an answer for
Starbucks.
that?
I just spoke with somebody and I got hung up on.
She's calling more pigs to the scene.
Okay, here comes another car.
You don't have an answer.
She's
Sir,
calling
you
more
have an answer
pigs.
to why she's been detained? How we
At
committed
Castro
any
Valley
crime?
Boulevard.
We're just nothing.
Okay, they don't want to listen to us, so let's go ahead and detain these two.
What?
No, you're
They don't want to listen to us, and so we're going to put them in torture cuffs? My God, people.
not going to detain them. No, you're not going to detain them. We haven't did anything.
She has to watch her children be put in torture cuffs.
We haven't did anything. We have not did anything.
You gotta start the car. Get out of the car.
No.
Wow. Let's watch this. Let's watch the man flip from the human form that he's tried to take on, that the demon, and then let's watch him flip into demon. Because he's a demon. He's an evil man. This man should burn in hell.
We have not did anything.
You gotta start the car. Get out of the car.
No.
Get out of the car.
Get
out of the car.
No, I'm not.
She's going to leave her 2 children there in torture cuffs. She's going to drive away with her 2 kids there being put in torture cuffs.
The window down.
Get out of the car.
I'm rolling the window down.
Get out of the car.
I'm rolling the window down.
Get out of the car.
I see it's rolled down.
Get out of the car.
There it is. Look at her wrist. Look at her wrist. I want to show you something. I watched this last night. I want to show this to you. Watch. Be very close attention to how he treats a free American who's committed no crimes. Look at how he's twisting. Look at that. Look at her wrist. And now he's going to jack up her shoulder and pull on her. He's literally, look, he's still trying. Look at the hands. Watch. Still grabbing, squeezing, twisting. He's not done. Watch his hands. I did this last night. I watched this last night. Look how he's squeezing her. And he's such a beta male, he can't even keep track of her. Can't even keep a hold of her.
The car. Get out of the car.
Why?
This is your last chance to get out of the car, or I'm placing you.
No, you're not placing me under arrest.
Or I'm placing you under arrest.
I'm calling
So
someone.
she's getting her. Hold on, did you watch? Watch. She's
Or I'm
getting
placing you
out.
under arrest.
I'm calling someone.
Get out of the car.
I am. You don't have to pull me. I'm getting out now.
Get out.
There goes the abuse again.
Get out.
Stop it. You're gonna get in a lot of trouble. So
That's fine. Stand right here. Stand right here.
Horrible.
Put your hands behind your back.
Wait.
Put your hands behind your back.
There's the abuse again. Why does her hands have to go behind her back? She's no danger to anybody. She's never threatened. She's never spit. She's never said she would fight in any way. Why do you have to go in torture cuffs immediately? That will change when I'm governor. You will not be able to grab people and put them in torture cuffs.
You're being detained.
No, I'm not being detained for what?
You're being detained.
For what?
Being detained for what?
Put your hand behind your back, or you're gonna go to jail.
No, I'm not going to jail. And you're not
No, she's going to go to jail.
We're getting an attorney right now. Record everything. We're getting an attorney. We're getting an attorney. No, we're getting an attorney. We're getting an attorney. The minute.
I'm so proud of this woman. I'm so
We
proud of
haven't
her.
done anything.
Put your hands behind your back.
Don't worry. We're going to the sheriff right now.
We have 2 detained. Working on.
I mean, just take a look at her face right there, right? Imagine looking at someone and then going, well, she is black. I'll just walk up on her. I mean, and by the way, it's not just black, but in this particular case, a couple blackies sitting in a parking lot of Starbucks for 2 hours. You got 3 people. Let's do a giveaway. Let's do a giveaway right now. Free 5A cop card, driver and non-driver, to the next 3 people who get anything from my website. The next 3 people, I'm going to give away 3 driver and non-driver cop cards right now. This is the hard plastic card. I'm going to give away to 3 people. Let me give you guys the last order number so that you guys know what the last order number was. You got to go to my website, deletelaws.com with a Z. The last order number is going to be, it's going to be 685 Randy, 685 Randy. The next 3 people who go to deletelaws.com with a Z, I'm going to send you in the mail my 2 5A and non-driver cop card, both cards. The next 3 people who order anything from my website, If you can, please purchase something. I would appreciate it. That way I don't take a loss. But the next 3 people who go to my website right now, listen, I recommend you get this trifold because she should have said immediately, I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. She should have had this in her hand. All of her stuff should have been in her visor. Her camera should have been in the other hand. It should have been like this. And there should have been no words other than I plead the Fifth Amendment. That's it. So for the next 3 people after Randy, I'm going to mail you in the mail tomorrow. And by the way, I fixed the shipping. It now only takes 6 to 10 days to get your trifold, to get your 5A cop card. Yeah, I fixed the shipping. So the shipping is now fixed. And now you guys will get your products so much faster from me. But I want to give 3 of these away. So the non-driver and driver cop card right there. I showed you guys earlier number 4 when the cop walks up and says, hey, I need your ID. She could have put this card in his hand and that would have avoided absolutely everything. But she didn't. But she did not. She kept talking and now look at her. She talked.
Attorney, we're getting an attorney.
Walk
We haven't done anything.
Walk over here.
I haven't done anything. I'm sitting
Walk
on-
over here.
I haven't done anything.
Face this car.
I have not done anything. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. I don't have no weapons on me. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. You can't even answer me. Don't worry.
I love how confident she is. She's like, we're going to get a lawyer. We're going to sue him.
We're going to go to the sheriff's department. Don't worry. Don't worry. I saw y'all.
Put your hands behind your back or you're going to jail. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your
You're
back.
going to get fired.
You're
You're
going
going to
to
get
jail.
fired. You're going to get fired.
That's fine.
You're going to get fired. You watch. Don't worry,
That's fine.
Asala. We got a lawsuit. Don't worry, because we haven't done nothing. We got a lawsuit. We have a lawsuit. Don't worry, we have a lawsuit.
Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back.
Could you imagine being that woman's daughter sitting in the passenger seat of her car and you're just going to get a coffee and take a pee? And then the cops pull you over, grab your mother, put her in torture cuffs, grab you, put you in torture cuffs, grab your sister or brother. I never see the other kid. They put him in torture cuffs or her in torture cuffs. Could you imagine? You're just sitting in a parking lot at Starbucks.
Worry.
That's fine.
We have a lawsuit.
Could you even imagine that?
Officer, can you make some sense out of this? We haven't done anything.
All right. Walk with me over here.
We haven't done anything.
We're detaining a third.
We haven't done anything.
Detaining her third child.
Go for it.
All of a sudden, we're getting arrested.
Just horrible. I got you, Michelle. I'm sending you a bunch of stuff right now.
We haven't, excuse me.
Oh, you
We
got
haven't
the
done
stuff,
anything.
Michelle?
So can you get your, I asked for, I don't have a weapon on me.
I'm just
I asked
checking.
for his superior, his supervisor. I asked for a supervisor.
And look at the, I just want to show you this. I saw this last night. I just want to show you something. Look at the other drone. Look at the other drone. I'll put it on slow motion because I watched a lot of this in slow motion last night. I wanted to see every detail of what was happening. Take a look at the Asian pig who's there. Take a look at him. He's not asking any questions as to whether or not this is legal or lawful or what they did. He's not. All he's doing, he's going in. There's no wonder. She's saying this isn't right. This isn't right. But what does he do? He unlocks the back door. And then he opens up the cage to stuff her in. There's no thought process from that man. He's an order follower. Now you guys know why I dominate these pigs on the street. Because they're not the equal to me. None of these guys are the equal man that I am. They're all cowards and I'm not. Look at him. He has look at him. He has no care. He doesn't care about anybody or look at him. What a little coward beta male bitch. I mean, just straight up. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree. If that is a coward beta male bitch. That's the only time he ever looks at her. Looks at her for a split second because she's no longer a human being. She's now a prisoner. She's a subject. Looks away, get her back in the cage. That's all they want to do is cage you up. That's all they want to do. Put you in a cage, take you to jail.
No, what are you talking about? We haven't done anything.
This
Your feet up.
is that what he just said?
That's not how things work, man.
That's not how things work, ma'am. Well, you don't seem to know how they work either, you pig.
No, what are you talking about? We haven't done anything.
Take your feet up.
We haven't.
You don't demand what we do.
No, I'm not demanding
You don't demand what we do. I order you around, pig. I'm your boss.
anything.
Look at this guy. Look at him walk. Look at him walk off as he's dressed up like G.I. Joe.
We do what the barking.
This is gonna make your
And
blood
six
boil.
and all that.
This made me so mad yesterday.
Not yet.
Watch what this pig does. This pisses me off beyond the pale.
31 down. Can I get the last 6? Copy and matches.
Randy, check your email.
Right now, you're not putting your foot in the car. You're not following our instructions.
I'm asking you a question. Why am I being arrested?
Right now, you're being arrested because
He's-
you're not
What did I do
listening
to
us.
be arrested? What led up to this? Can you answer that honestly? You cannot.
He's the most competent pig, and he's screaming like that, like an animal, like a freaking animal. Listen to him sighing as though he's doing something like he's being put out. I can't believe these people. God. Look at this. My God. He's going through her stuff. Get out of my stuff, dude. Get out of her belongings. You don't belong searching her stuff. She didn't. Whoa. I gotta calm down here. My blood is boiling right now. Why is he going through? Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Delete Laws, where the people who care watch videos of others having their rights violated. And then what we do every once in a while is, as we're watching the Jackboot Thug Pigs cheat our fellow citizens and free Americans, we take a break just for a moment in the middle of all that. Forgive me, I'm sorry. I wish I was a stronger person. However, I have to make sure I keep my blood pressure down, and I'm getting more and more mad every second I watch this. Thanks, Daryl. I'll check on the back end. Oh, while I'm here, just real quick, I send off hundreds of free trifolds a day, hundreds of free posters, hundreds of free ebooks, hundreds of free 5A cop cards, hundreds. Please do not reply. Ready? Please don't say thank you. Do the math. So if I send off 200 free trifolds a day, if you reply and say, thank you so much, Chille, for the free trifold, then I have 400 emails the next morning. So please do not reply. If you didn't get it, then contact me again, but I only need one email, and please do not reply with thank you. Yeah, I always send everything. I do what I do. So just do me a favor. Don't say thank you. I put it in the email this time. Randy, you're about to get your email. All right, I'm calm. Forgive me, y'all. Forgive me. I'm a person though, and it pisses me off.
Are we good over here?
It's your confidence.
Okay.
Sorry, you're hurting me.
No.
Like, really? You really?
No.
Yeah, they really are doing that to you. That's right. It's real. Classy woman, check your email. I just sent you
I need
a bunch
to
of stuff.
identify who you are
5A
and your
cop
relation
card.
to this car to the people. So,
Where's your driver's license at?
It's in my wallet.
Okay, which one's that?
It's my black wallet.
The black wallet? Is that in the purse that was right by your feet?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Why is it any of her? Oh, God, it pisses me off. Why?
Well, I'm going admin while I talk to my partners.
Figure out what is going on.
Talk to your partners? Bro, talk to the other pigs, you mean? BS us, dude. Full of shit. They muted the microphone. We don't get to hear what they said. Pigs. Absolute pigs. I hate these guys, man. I really do. Why can't we hear it? I guess we're not adult enough. We're not allowed to hear it. We don't have the facilities to hear it. They have to mute the microphone. We're not adult enough. They're sitting there planning their tyranny. We don't get to hear it. That's the other thing. I often talk about running for governor and winning the governorship. And what I'm going to do first is change the body cam system. The police should not get the body cam footage that they can edit. You should not be able to turn off your microphone or your camera. I'm going to change it. There's so many changes I'll do as day one as governor that these people, common sense for the commoners like you and I, the peons who live in this world every day, I'm going to end that immediately. Absolutely immediately. You're not going to be able to turn it. I'm going to create. So the Axion system, Axion body camera, they are one of the sponsors of Cop City. Whose side do you think they're on? They work with the pigs week in, week out, day in, day out, month in, month out, year after year. Axiom is a blue chip stock. Why is that? Because they have the contract with the state and the government to get all that money. That's the body cam footage. And then the cops get the body cam footage and they're able to alter their camera and their microphone. And even when they're wearing a camera and microphone, what do they say? I'm hot. I'm hot. Shh, I'm hot. Don't talk to me. Who's on the scene? Chille's here. He's hot. Then all the other pigs know, and they talk with body language then. Day one as governor, I'll change all of these things. Day one. It's still muted, and they're over there having their secret rendezvous conversations. Who knows what they're saying? We don't get to know. We're not adult enough. You can't handle it. You can't handle the truth. Daryl, give me 1 second. Check your email. Give me 1 second. I'm filling out a big form here with a bunch of y'all on it. This just pisses me off. Why is it off? Why is the sound off? I keep on trying to turn it up. Why are they searching her vehicle? That's fine. I mean, how wrong is this? I mean, right now, your blood should be absolutely boiling. There's no reason in the world. There's absolutely no reason in the world that this should be happening. They're sitting there talking back and forth. Every second makes me more and more mad. I just don't know why that's happening. Oh, man. Why is he going through her stuff? He doesn't have a right to do that. That's highly unconstitutional what he's doing. That violates her Fourth Amendment all day, every day, twice on Sunday. April, did you get your t-shirt yet? I sent you a t-shirt. Come on. Every second that there's no volume makes me mad. I'm sorry, y'all. I apologize. I wish I was governor right now so I could just make the changes that need to be made. I wish it was happening right now. Come on. Oh, I'm so irritated. They muted the camera so we don't get to hear what they're saying. Why? I want the unredacted. No, maybe the camera's off on the actual camera itself so that we can't hear it. Maybe that's what's happening right now. So it doesn't matter what we do, we'll never be able to hear it. Okay, let me send this email off. There it is. Well, there's no point in listening to nothing here. So irritating, so frustrating for me. Look at that. They just took their IDs out of their pockets. when they've done nothing wrong, committed no crimes. Looking through their car, and now they're showing their ID on body camera. Look, they're showing their identification. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. They could mute the camera, but they can't hide the woman's identification properly. My God. And he's laughing and smiling as they've wrongfully arrested people. Oh, was they checking to see if he had a body cam on? Is that what they were talking about right there? I'm trying to turn the volume up here. Check your email, everybody. Oh, you know what? Nevada 43, you gave me the wrong email address. I can't. Nevada 43, it's the wrong email, brother. That name is going to match up with, would have been, just double checking. I want to make sure Nevada 43. Not that one. I don't know why it's muted. I couldn't tell you. Check your email, everybody. I just sent off a bunch of free stuff to a bunch of people. There's no camera sound because they get sued. Going through her stuff. Why are they going through their stuff? Why are they going through her stuff? What are they doing? Black family gets $8.25 million settlement after being wrongfully detained near a California Starbucks. So she did follow through, true to her word, and she sued them. And she was given a settlement. True to her word, she kept fighting. She kept fighting. Let me see if I can get a video of this real quick for you. I got a video for you. Now, I've got to make sure that I interrupt this a few times because if I don't, Fox News will try to...
TVU Fox 2 News at 5 starts now.
What crime have we committed? What crime have we committed?
Rights violated. Now at 5, a mother and her 2 daughters in disbelief when they were unlawfully searched and handcuffed by Alameda County Sheriff's deputies. A federal jury reaching that conclusion and awarding them more than $8 million. Good evening. I'm Julie Hayner.
And I'm Mike Meeback. The incident unfolded in 2019. New at 5, KTVU's Brooks Giroux joins us with the body cam video that shows how it all went down. Brooks?
Well, that verdict was just reached last week in a trial that alleged false arrest, invasion of privacy, and violations of constitutional rights. The women say they feel they were stopped and searched because of the color of their skin.
What are you guys doing here?
Waiting to go to Starbucks in a second. Why? Is there a problem? We can't sit here.
Well, actually, let me tell you why I'm here. Okay. I've been having auto break-ins in this parking lot every morning around this time.
Aceli Lagervale and her 2 daughters were sitting in a rented Cadillac outside this Castro Valley Starbucks when Alameda County Sheriff's deputies concerned about car burglaries zeroed in on them, demanding the mom's ID.
What's that about? What did I do? What kind of crime did I commit?
The deputy doesn't answer, so she refuses.
You have to give me your ID.
Why do I have to give you my ID?
Why?
I don't have to give you my ID because I haven't did anything.
Lagervale's attorney says it's the first violation of her constitutional rights.
They can ask. They can always ask, but you don't have to give it to them. And they can only demand it if they have reasonable suspicion to believe that you've committed a crime.
They don't want to listen to us, so let's go ahead and detain these two.
But then things escalate.
Get out of the car.
Anything. I'll get out. Just don't pull on me. I'll get out.
Tell me what I'm detained for.
All three are put in handcuffs.
You're being
Torture
detained.
cuffs, please. Get it right.
Put your hand behind your back or you're going to go to jail.
No, I'm not going to jail. You're not the
And for more than an hour held in the back of a police cruiser.
Ridiculous. I just told them I have to use the restroom.
The car and all of their belongings was searched without their consent, finding nothing to suggest any crimes and prompting a civil lawsuit alleging they were unlawfully stopped and searched, falsely arrested, and their privacy invaded because they're black.
If not consciously, subconsciously, there was something going on that made them unreasonably suspicious of this family that had, and I think if this same scenario happened and these were white women, I think it all plays out very differently.
Oh, no, it
A
doesn't.
federal jury agreed, deliberating for 2 days and returning an $8.25 million verdict. The Lauderdale's lawyer says the sheriff's office did an internal affairs investigation that said the 2 deputies did nothing wrong, and both have since been promoted.
What are you detaining us for?
Both those pigs were promoted.
Now you're searching through our items without
That
permission.
you get to. I'm glad we get to see
some
the pig
extent,
on
for
this
the
one.
rest of their life, every time they see police officers, every time they're in a Starbucks parking lot, they're going to remember this.
Of course, we all hate pigs, dude. It's across the country. We all hate pigs. Put a 1 in the chat if you hate pigs. I do. I hate them. I can't stand them. That's why I'm so mean to them. That's why this channel is not as big as it should be, because I'm a searing prick to pigs. And this is the reason why. Not one had any better sense than the other. The first one started the abuse, and then the other pigs flew to the scene and they joined in on the abuse.
This is a large payout for a case that did not deal with excessive force. Neither the Alameda County Sheriff's Office nor the attorney representing the county responded to our requests for comment. Brooks DeRose, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
And Brooks, a federal judge can reduce damages awarded by a jury. Do we know if that will actually happen in this case?
That is certainly a possibility. It will be up to the defense, in this case, the county, to request that, and then the judge will make a decision from there.
There you go. KTVU.
No way, man. Listen, I hate to say it, but I'm on the side of the woman. Our taxes. So where do your tax dollars go? Your tax dollars go to wars, cops, and cages. That's where our money goes. So if one of us is able to sue the state or the government and get a payout, I'm all for it. We gave $100 billion to Ukraine and Israel for wars. We can't fix the homeless problem. We can't reduce the cost of living. We can't get a consumer protection agency to oversee the price of the food gouging that's going on in every store across America. But we could send $100 billion for wars. Your money is spent on wars, cops, cages, prisons. That's where the bulk of your money goes. The bulk of your tax dollars goes to those 3 entities. To the military industrial complex, the missiles, Raytheon, Boeing. Your money goes to cops across the country. They get pensions. I just read that in Utah, I think they're giving $18,000 bonuses for people who will remain being a cop because they can't get anybody to be a pig because of these policies, procedures, and protocols. Your money goes to prisons. It goes to cages where we lock people up and don't educate them. And then when they get out, they're 5 years behind, 5 steps behind you and me. They're worse. They're more likely to recidivate. They're more likely to commit crime. John Locke said, show me the character of a man and I'll show you how much education he has. And we don't spend any money investing in anybody. Bruce sent off your 5A cop card last night. You should have it in the mail in a couple days. Let me announce the winners. Let me announce the winners of the 3 5A cop cards. And I'm going to share with you guys the actual screenshot. I got a different system now. Your orders now on trifolds and 5A cop cards will take a week to 10 days at the most, less than a week in some cases, less than 10 days in almost every case. I fixed my shipping delay that I was having, and it was really frustrating for me. But I got a good team. I got a good factory of people. So here's the people who won the 5A cop card. right there. Let me open this bad chicken big. So April 689, Colton 687, and Harold 686. You three folks. I got a whole system now. Now I put the envelope here and I just write the address and I ship it out right away. So after Randy, there was 3 winners. This person who I blacked out didn't purchase anything. And let me just explain that real quick. I have no problem giving everybody my products for free, but these cards cost me $6,000. So I mitigate the cost. The $9 people spend in the store, it barely covers the cost of the card. So I'll make $1 or $2. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like, so the person I crossed out their name because I sent you everything I sell for free via email. The only difference between this 5A cop card right here and this 5A cop card right here, the one I emailed you, is this one I took to Kinko's and I laminated it. You got both of them in your email though. You got the driver and non-driver card in your email. This one is like a hotel key that took me a few months to get together and get processed properly. The only difference is one's laminated by me and one I send to you in the mail. This is the non-driver card on the top and this is the driver card on the bottom. You have to have both cards. And then instead of talking to cops when they say, hey, give me your identification, you go, okay, 1 second, officer. Here you go. There you go. Number 4 on there says that the cop requests my ID and says he has reasonable articulable suspicion. I identify as good citizen. I plead the 5th Amendment. That's how you do it. So the person who didn't get anything from my site, I still sent this to you. I still emailed this to you. You have this in your email right now. You can print this out at Kinko's and you can do exactly like I do, laminate it. This costs less than $2 or $3 at the most. And I gave it to you for free. So I like it. Let's give away 3 more. Let me check the last order. Daryl, I think you might have been no, I'm sorry. Let me see if there's anybody after Daryl who ordered anything from my website. I always like to give everybody the same. Look, I don't like to enter drawings and not get it fair. So it'll be after Wayne, check your email in 1 second. And then Jerry Lee, check your email in 1 second. So after Jerry Lee, the next 3 people who order anything from my website, I'm going to send you my 5A cop card for free. After Jerry Lee is 695. So it should be 696, 697, and 698. The next 3 people, I'm going to send you both the driver and the non-driver cop card in the mail today, as soon as this live is over. I told you I fixed my shipping problem. I was really having a problem shipping taking too long, and it frustrated me beyond the pale. Because when someone orders a trifold or a 5A cop card from me, they want it now. They want it the day they order it, they want it shipped. And so I've fixed it. I've taken the time to put if you want something done, you got to spend the money. So I had to hire somebody, and now my cards and my trifolds will ship that day or next morning. So there'll be no delay, absolutely no delay anymore on getting your products. And oh, by the way, everybody who I mentioned their name, check your email, because I also sent you my poster. I sent you my poster in your email. It's in your email right now. This is about $30 to print out. But if you print this bad chicken out and you stick it on the wall in your kitchen, living room, or dining room, people will stand around and talk about it for hours. There's so much, it's an infographic. There's so much information on here. Even when I pass away one day, God willing, and hopefully not soon, recovering Catholic, I still do the sign of the cross. I think that this will be my opus. I think that people will go, man, I got this. And if you learn everything on here, if you learn every single thing on here, including all of the presidents, who can name all the presidents? I guarantee you that very few people in here can name all the presidents, all the icons of history. It's an unbelievable poster. So I'm going to email this to you as well with any purchase. And that Jerry Lee and Wayne, thanks to you guys for getting from my site. I really appreciate it. Harold, check your email. You got a bunch of stuff in your mail. Colton, check your email. I sent you a bunch of stuff. April, check your email. April has my stuff already. But now I have Wayne and Jerry Lee. They are the last 2 people. I believe Jerry Lee was the last one. So the next 3 people who get anything from my website, I'm going to send you the 5A cop card 100% for free, both driver and non-driver. So let me share with you what I want to show you next. Present. Rights are violated in the name of officer safety. Now, I teach you guys about Terry versus Ohio every single day, and now I want to show it to you in actual application. Let me subscribe to Eric's channel. Open big here. Now check this out. Listen carefully to what is stated here. This is unbelievable.
Hey, am I being detained? Yeah, we told you you were. What crime? No crime. You're being detained for officer safety. Oh! Hey, am I being detained? Yeah, we told you you were. What crime? No crime. You're being detained for officer safety. Oh! For officer safety. Great. Are you body cam on? It sure is. Thank God. Mine's probably going to get erased. Clown show. Fucking clown show. We the people had enough of your bullshit. I got you.
I'm going to play it one more time, and then I'm going to go into some case law here. I want you guys to see it.
Hey, am I being detained? Yeah, we told you you were. What crime? No crime. You're being detained for officer safety. Oh!
So the government can grab you and put you in torture cuffs for officer safety. You hear that? That's what he just said. So the 1968 case of Terry versus Ohio, the facts, I wonder if they're actually going to spell it out down here. The court found that the searches undertaken were limited in scope and designed to protect the officer's safety incident to the investigation. I'll go to the top just so we can read it. I wonder, I have never read the OEA's Terry versus Ohio. I do the actual case reading. Terry and two other men were observed by plainclothes policemen in what officers believed casing a job for a stick-up. The officer stopped and frisked the three men and found weapons on two of them. Terry was convicted of carrying a concealed weapon and sentenced to 3 years in jail. Question: was the search of Terry and the other men involved in violation of the Fourth Amendment? They didn't say that. Let me give you the background better. Martin McFadden saw John Terry and two of his buddies, and they were walking around downtown Cleveland. Well, in 1963, you weren't allowed to walk around downtown Cleveland if you were black. It wasn't acceptable. The officer, instead of having any probable cause, stopped and frisked the three men and found weapons on two of them, on Childress and on Terry. So was the search of Terry, when they just stopped and frisked him, was that in violation of the Fourth Amendment? Let's go by ideology. Once again, you can see it yourself. It's the conservative justices every time. They screw us. In an 8-1 decision, the court held that the search undertaken by the officers was reasonable under the Fourth Amendment and that the weapon seized can be introduced into evidence against Terry. Attempting to focus narrowly on the facts of this particular case. So they focused on the facts of this case for all of us. The court found that the officer acted on more than a hunch, but he didn't. That's not true. It's a lie. That a reasonable and prudent man would have been warranted in believing that Terry was armed and thus presented a threat to officer safety. While he was investigating his suspicious behavior, the court found that the searches undertaken were limited in scope and designed to protect officer safety incident to the investigation. Well, I think I've covered this maybe 20 times in the past 2 weeks. The judiciary branch of government, the Supreme Court, their functionality is to uphold our rights. They are the custodians and the guardians of our civil liberties. This is the last line of defense against our rights being violated. And what is the court's concern? Well, if the government's main interest is in officer safety, which is what it is, they want to protect the people who hurt us. If you guys don't know why I'm so disappointed, there's There's just no other way to really understand what I'm saying to you guys unless you truly take a look at Terry versus Ohio and how the courts have created this magical mantra of officer safety being the most important thing. But let me just go into it a little bit deeper so that you guys truly understand. And I'm going to slide to the side because I'm going to explain something right now that I haven't explained to my audience before. So let's take a look at the poster here. Okay. Now, all throughout the history of time, going all the way back to 1607, going all the way back to 1607 with the founding of Jamestown. I mean, you can go back to the other colony, but it didn't last. 1607 was the founding of Jamestown. So that's the year 1607. When we go down the timeline of history, there's never any need for the unelected Supreme Court to create this magical mantra of officer safety. It doesn't need to be done. It never is. So then what happens? Why is there this magical mantra of officer safety? Well, because in 1954 in Brown versus Board of Education, back here, I can't see it very well. Let me see. Sorry about that. In 1954, Brown versus Board of Education, somewhere in here, officially frees black people where they no longer have to live in segregation and they don't have to live under black codes. Black codes are created in Plessy versus Ferguson, but they existed before that. You can take a look at the racist origins of gun control, which I emailed a bunch of you today. So in 1954, when blacks are finally actually freed from, remember, go out 1607 all the way till 1954, do the math on that. That's roughly 250 years, right? So all through all these Supreme Court cases, the Supreme Court never has a need to create this magical officer safety. Then when we free blacks in 1954, 1963, John Terry's hanging out downtown. Martin McFadden sees him, runs up and grabs him. Now, Earl Warren, white supremacist, Freemason for 5 years, governor of California. This is the man who did the Warren Commission on JFK and hid his assassination. This is the man who advised FDR in 1942 to lock up Korematsu and 100,000 Japanese people. This man, this evil man right here. He then creates the mantra of officer safety. Well, why is that? White fright. That's the reason why Terry versus Ohio was created. It was created from white fright. You got to be able to protect the cops. And who are the cops going after? Well, 1704, the South Carolina slave catchers are created, the very first police in America. What are they created for? They're created to enforce slavery contracts. That's why they create. I'm not kidding. The term law enforcement is going to come from them enforcing slavery contracts, the 1704 South Carolina slave catchers. So from 1704 until 1954, we got 250 years. We never have to have a mantra for officer safety because back here, if a black gets in too lippy with you, you can just kill him. You can beat him. You can rape him. You can do whatever you want to him. There's no limit to what you can do to a black person in the streets. We have the mantra of officer safety based on white fright. It's not what I want. I'm pretty conservative. You guys know how conservative I am. Like, I'm not some raging liberal over here. Like, everything's racist. Policing was created for racism. 1704 South Carolina slave catchers. The entire mantra of officer safety was created for racism, was created so that white cops could grab Black Panthers on the streets and disarm them. This is why Terry versus Ohio was created. Because when blacks were freed in 1954, they thought we're free. Blacks were freed in 1954, Brown versus Board of Education, and blacks thought we're free. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last. Oh, shoot. We need to bring in officer safety here. We need officer safety as quick as we possibly can. We got to get officer safety in here. I mean, if we don't get officer safety, it's so that white cops can grab black people. And now, I mean, and just so we can get off the racist thing, it's about all of us now, isn't it? Isn't it happening to you? How many people have a story in here and you're not black? How many people have a story in here of the cops abusing you, hurting you, torture cuffing you, abusing you, and you're not black? Let me put my 1 in here. 1 in the chat for me. 1, 1, 1, 1. I could probably put a couple 1, 1, 1, 1s in there because I've been arrested dozens of times for no reason because I tell the Jackboot Thug Pigs that they can go blow hard. I just didn't have a camera before. I didn't have this before. And now I have this. And now, you know, I want you to have this, but now I know how to use this without even having it on me. And I confront pigs all the time, so I don't necessarily always have to have this on me, but what do? I still have it on me. I always have a trifold in my pocket. Do you know that? And it's mostly in case I run into somebody on the streets and they look big and poor, like a big white dude who's poor walking through the grocery store. I'll see him. I look at him and I think to myself, if I was a pig, I would target that guy. Then I walk right up to him and I say, hey man, listen, my name's ChilleDeCastro. I want to give you this trifold. I take it out of my pocket. It's folded in half and I give it to him. I carry one with me always. I never leave without it. Never, ever, 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 ever. Because I have to be able to show the cop that I've invoked my Fifth Amendment right and show it on camera. That way I can get around that clearly established prong that the federal judges and the Supreme Court judges will work against us. Because if you don't invoke the right that you're using, then you don't have that right. Put a 1 in the chat if you know about Salinas versus Texas. Put a 1 in the chat if you know about Salinas versus Texas. And all y'all, if you guys order anything from my website, not very many people buy this poster, and that's okay. I don't mind. But I want to make sure that you get it and you print it out. Print it out, 27 by 40, put it on your wall, stand around. You people will sit around and talk with your friends and your family about the things on this poster for so many hours. I mean, I'm not going to tell you. Do you know who this is? Do you know who this is? Do you know who this is? Do you know who this man is? Do you know who this man is? If you don't know who they are, then you're going to have a pretty good time with this poster. And I'll give you a key in the whole thing. So we all have stories here. We all have stories. So yesterday I interviewed, as you got, let me say one more thing and then I'll get off my face off the screen here. I want to say thank you again to everybody who donated yesterday to my friend John Felax. John Felax is a freedom fighter. He's been a freedom fighter for over a decade, has a YouTube channel for over a decade. YouTube has completely demonetized him. Yeah, you do. Savant, yes, you do. Savage, you get, I'm going to email you everything right now. I'm going to let Felax's video play a little bit and he's going to teach us, he's going to break down Terry versus Ohio in a very succinct way. So let's watch a little bit of Felax's video.
Hey, Pucker Buttface. Good afternoon. Pause it, and you're going to like it. If you've never seen this, you are missing out. So this is Terry versus Ohio. This happened literally 15 minutes from where I grew up.
Number 67, John W. Terry et al., petitioners versus Ohio.
So this is everything you need to know about Terry versus Ohio. We are going to go over what the case is.
The facts in this case are these. This incident occurred at 2:30 in the afternoon, broad daylight, in the downtown section of Cleveland, Ohio. The police officer in this case, one Martin McFadden, noticed 2 Negro males standing at the corner of 14th Street in the city of Cleveland, where Euclid Avenue and Huron Road intersect. These 2 streets, if the court pleased, form a triangle at the apex of East 14th Street. The police officer was approximately 100 feet away.
2:30 in the afternoon, Martin McFadden, who had been a beat cop since 1924. He'd been on the beat working that area since 1924. No blacks were freed until 1954. For 30 years, all he did was enforce segregation that blacks were not allowed downtown.
From where these 2 men were. He said, well, to tell you the truth, I didn't like them. Didn't like them? Yes.
So for this case to continue, for us to continue down the road of this case, you first have to buy that Martin McFadden was a super cop and he predicted a stick-up. We have to start from there to have a case at all whatsoever.
What kind of a neighborhood is that generally in Cleveland? A business neighborhood? That is our downtown section, the busiest section of the city. Downtown retail stores and offices and so on. Yes, Your Honor. And The testimony of the police officer was that there was business as usual in the downtown.
I just didn't like him. So before this case, everything was based on probable cause and probable cause only. Your little hunches, your reasonable, articulable suspicion, none of that was in place. So in order to do things, you had to have probable cause back then.
In the center of the city, stores were open, there were pedestrians on the street. The police officers stated that he positioned himself in the doorway of a department store by the name of Rogoff. For a period of 10 to 12 minutes, he observed these two males at the corner. Alternately, each made 5 or 6 trips over to 2 stores located on Huron Road. He said that he didn't know whether it was the United Airlines store or the Diamond store.
Or it's Halloween Day and there's thousands. It's like Broadway in New York City. Euclid Street in Cleveland in 1963 was the place to be. It was the most thriving epicenter in America. You understand that? So we think of Cleveland as this dirty, dingy place. Well, 1963, it was the talk of the town. Euclid Avenue, dude, you didn't go down to Euclid unless you were looking good.
We're going to go over the battle.
So could they have been walking around looking at women, looking at different costumes that were on the streets? Yes, they could have.
Didn't know whether it was the United Airlines store or the Diamond store.
We're going to go over the battle between Reuben Payne and Louis Stokes. And really, Reuben Payne just lays a shellacking on Louis Stokes. And Louis Stokes lays a great big goose egg in the arguments for Terry.
They were standing on the corner conversing. Then, because of their not continuing in the flow of regular commerce, he observed one of the petitioners walk away from the other one and proceed approximately 100 feet west of the street.
Alternately, each made 5 or 6 trips over to 2 stores located on Huron Road.
He noticed the unusual activity of this petitioner peering in the jewelry store or the airline office.
Suspicious activity.
There, that was something in the vicinity of the airline office or the jewelry store which excited the petitioner's attention in some manner or in some way.
When you listen to the Terry v. Ohio oral arguments, raw dog, just straight, they're only 1 hour, you'll hear that the number of times that Terry, Katz, and Chilton went over and looked in that Diamond store window, it exaggerates constantly throughout the entire trial. Of course, Louis Stokes never pushes back on this, and the only time it's ever mentioned is when Thurgood Marshall mentions it later in the trial.
He then returned to his companion on the corner, had a conversation with his companion. His companion, in turn, alternately proceeded up the street and conducted himself in the very same manner, that they alternated in this way 4 or 5 times, that thereupon a third man came from across the street and had a conversation with them. After having a conversation with them, that the third man returned back across the street and stationed himself there, that these individuals then engaged in the conduct which I have described previously, 4 or 5 additional trips after that. Making the total number of trips, they then went across the street. The 3 men came together, which time they were...
That was all made up nonsense. Everything you just heard is not true. They made it up. They saw a couple black guys milling around downtown Cleveland on Euclid Avenue during Halloween Day at 2:30 in the afternoon and said, "Them Enners don't belong down here." That's exactly what was going on. Martin McFadden was deeply racist.
Were having a conversation, at which time the officer had concluded that they were casing the establishment for a stick-up.
I don't care if they went back and forth 4 times or 50 times or 100 times. We have the right to assemble in the United States of America. We have the right to assemble. The Colfax massacre was based on black people assembling. Most of the 1967 massacres were based on...
By the way, this guy doesn't sleep or eat, so if you're wondering where he gets the time and the energy to cut this out and draw this up and make these timelines. I mean, these are the types of things I think about in my head, and then I'll get to like this far in it in my head, and then I'll fall asleep or eat some potato chips.
We don't stop.
Chille's driven like this. He's built different, so to speak.
On black people assembling.
The police officer then says, I then went over to the three men. I said to them, I'm a police officer. What are your names? In the first instance, he said, they gave it to me quick. In all other places in the record, he says, they mumbled something. He said, at this, I then reached and got Terry. I spun him around, holding him in front of me. I then began to pat him down. He says, I felt inside of his top coat what felt to be the handle of a gun.
The cop testified, I didn't like him, so he ran over and grabbed him. That's against your Fourth Amendment right. That's why Terry v. Ohio is the most liberty-stripping ruling that affects us the most. The exact same thing that happened to John Terry, that Martin McFadden did to John Terry, can now happen to you. It's the exact same thing.
And it does a lot.
A cop can look at you and be suspicious of you, and it's always probable cause.
This officer testified further, though, that he felt that they might be casing the place for a stick-up. Then the court then inquired of him specifically if he had ever, by the way, this police officer had been a police officer for 39.
Louis Stokes, this is his first Supreme Court case, and he's a black man. Let me give you a little bit more backlog so you guys understand. Louis Stokes is arguing on behalf of John Terry. However, he's a black man, and this is the first case a black man has ever argued before the Supreme Court. So if I'm suing here in Nevada and I just appeal to the circuit court, and if the circuit court denies me, we'll apply for certiorari to appeal to the Supreme Court for the lack of discovery that Nevada doesn't want to give me for my excessive force claim. So I will file for certiorari to the Supreme Court. Do you think that if I am granted certiorari and that my case is able to go to the Supreme Court, do you think that I want to have a lawyer that's their first case at the Supreme Court? No. Do you think that I would want to represent myself in front of the Supreme Court? No. I would hire a lawyer who's presented in front of the Supreme Court dozens or even hundreds of times. So Louis Stokes is presenting to the Supreme Court. He feels lucky to be there. Thurgood Marshall, this is his first year on the Supreme Court. He's under Earl Warren, and he will do as he is told. That black man, even though he's on the Supreme Court in 1967, he better know his place. And you'll hear him, Thurgood Marshall, you'll hear him come out and start to be human and then pull himself back and apologize. Can't show too much of your blackness. I'm just saying. I'm just giving you guys a little backlog so you actually understand a little bit more.
If he had ever, by the way, this police officer had been a police officer for 39 years and a detective for 35 years.
What did they say? They said Martin McFadden had been a cop for 39 years. They do this big emphasis on it. And so let's go back. He stops John Terry in 1963. So we can go back to 1923 is when Martin McFadden started being a cop, 1924. So what was going on in 1923, 1924? Prohibition. Before Brown versus Board of Education, police were the lynchmen. If you broke the black codes, police were the lynchmen in America.
If people, the public, would let the police force handle the situation, I believe the integration would not be omitted.
And who was enforcing segregation? It was the police. The police were enforcing segregation after Brown versus Board of Education had already passed. There's downtown right there. You see any black faces walking around? John Terry was not allowed to be walking around downtown Cleveland in 1963. Plain and simple.
Black people in America aren't even free. So Martin McFadden and all the Supreme Court personnel, they're still being influenced by the Jim Crow Act. So these guys are raised, look at the years they're born. These guys are raised watching that Jim Crow Act that believe that black people are feeble-minded. So Martin McFadden starts being a cop in 1930, and then in 1954, black people are free. And 9 years later, McFadden sees John Terry, says he didn't like how they look. Well, there's no shocker to that. That's not a surprise.
The court specifically asked him if he had, during his 39 years as a police officer, ever previously observed anyone casing a place. He said no, he had not. Asked if he had ever arrested anyone for casing a place. In his 39 years, he said that he had not.
He helps make the case for the state.
I then reached inside the coat and tried to remove the gun. I could not remove the gun. I therefore took the entire coat off of him and then took the gun out of the coat. At this point, he says, I ordered the three of them into the store. As I walked through the doorway, I said to the store personnel, order the wagon. He later explained that ordering the wagon means you are then under arrest.
Just because a cop is suspicious of you doesn't give him the right to walk over and grab you. There's no probable cause.
So what would be the arrest? What are you being arrested for?
If you understand the Bill of Rights as written, this case should be thrown out right here.
Once inside the store, the three men were ordered up against the wall, whereupon he then searched Chilton. Inside of Chilton's top coat, he also found a loaded revolver. He searched the third male Katz, upon whom he found nothing. He then caused these men to be removed from the haberdashery to Cleveland's police station. When they arrived at the police station, they were then booked for investigation. Sometime late the next day, after having
booked for investigation,
been interrogated the following morning, these men were then charged officially late the second day with carrying concealed weapons. The police officer.
No, is that not fruit of the death tree or
fruit of the poisonous tree?
Poisonous fruit of a.
Well, fruit of the poisonous tree is going to pass in the 1961 case of Mapp versus Ohio. These guys were frisked in 1963. The case is heard in 67. So, of course, it should have been fruit of the poisonous tree, which is an extension of the 1914 case, Weeks versus United States.
On poisonous tree, what the hell you call that?
Fruit of the poisonous tree.
You didn't have the right to search them in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Thus, whatever you find is no good. Fruit of a poisonous tree.
Felix is hilarious.
What's up, News Now, Victoria? What's up, Patrick?
You're hilarious.
Over the rainbow.
Also testified further, reference to questions propounded to him having to bear on the question of probable cause. We asked him, did you know any of these men? No. Had you ever seen any of these men previously? No. Had anyone given you any information regarding them? No. He was then asked what had attracted his attention to them. He said, well, to tell you the truth, I didn't like them.
Looking at someone and saying, I don't like the way you look. What was the attitude and the sentiment of white people in the cities in the early 1960s in America?
I don't like it.
Why not?
Well, I just don't think it's right. If people in Mississippi are ready for that, then they'll say they are.
You agree on this?
I think that we were better off before it started.
Well, I think they should have stayed where they was at. They're just trying to stir up trouble. That's all it is. They should have stayed where they belong. Well, I don't think none of us.
Dude, that's so disturbing that racism was just commonplace like that. Because when you look at these guys and the way they're presented, these people in this era in movies, it's like they're all so goody good, but underneath all that goody good facade is separationist, segregationist, racist. They're just doing this to cause trouble. They're doing what to cause trouble? Want to live the same life you live because they believe they're the human like you?
Like it. I mean, I just think we ought to have.
I always want to think to myself that I wouldn't have been this way. I wish I could have my knowledge, today's knowledge, go back then with today's weaponry.
Open season on all of them. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's not going to last too long before the people down here get a little antagonized with it, and they're going to take it into their own hands.
Up to the point where he spun Terry around. Had he done anything outside what a policeman might properly do? No, he had done nothing outside of what a policeman might ordinarily do. Now, if then at that juncture he had reason to believe they might be armed, did he have to complete his questioning first, or could he frisk them? I would say, under the circumstances presented to me, that he did not, under those circumstances, have the right to lay hands on this citizen. And this would be because you do not think the record shows that he had any reason to believe they had weapons? No, that he didn't have. I'm saying that the point that you lay your hands on the citizen and you begin to exercise dominion over that citizen on the streets by spinning him around. In order for you to do this, that you must have the probable cause that is required to place a person under arrest, because this person is substantially under your custody, your dominion. And then you mean he can't frisk for weapons without probable cause to arrest? Is that what you're saying? Yes.
Pay very close attention. This next part is where we all lose our liberty, where the Fourth Amendment is washed away. Pay very close attention.
Oh, you guys want to see the next one?
Let me announce the winners of the 5A cop card real quick. So I have 3 winners right now. Let me show you guys the screenshot so you guys can see who I said after Jara Lee, I would give 3 5A cop cards to the next 3 people. So let me show that, and we're going to come back to the video in 1 second. I just want to announce who you guys are so you know who you are, the winners. There it is after Jara Lee. You 3 folks are going to be getting the 5A cop card in the mail for free. That's going to be Isaacs 698. That's going to be Steven 697, and that's going to be Robert 696. As I told you, after Jara Lee, the next 3 people who purchase anything from my website, I would send you in the mail the cop card, the 5A cop card, and non-driver cop card. I will send these to you in the mail today as soon as I get off the live. My goal is to give away 10 cop cards every single day. I'm going to give away 10 of these every single day. And you carry these in your wallet. People who really hate cops as much as I do, you will absolutely love this card. You will love this card, especially the non-driver card right here. I mean, I'm going to give away 10 a day. That's what I'm going to do. 10 a day so that these get in circulation and people have them. So right there, the non-driver card, cop cited, you start filming. You just follow this step-by-step tutorial. On the back of this, if the cop tries to get your ID and you're not driving a car and he says, hey, give me your ID, you got this card for this moment. Put a 1 in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. When a cop says, hey, give me your ID, and you don't have to give him ID, you know there's no probable cause, you know you haven't broken the law, you're sitting on the side of the road eating an orange, and the cop comes up to you and says, hey, give me your ID. You're not operating a car, so what do? You go, you want to see my ID? 1 second, officer. I plead the 5th Amendment. Number 4 on the 5A cop card, if you demand my identification, I've invoked my 5th Amendment. I'm going to tell you that I identify as good citizen in case you say you have RAS. And then right here, the law is in the navy blue. Citizen has to state how they ID, not give ID. You do not give ID without probable cause. From here on out, I'm going to stand mute, officer. You can even tell him, I got this card for this moment right here. I got this for this exact moment right here. So that when your Jackboot Thug Pig ass walked up to me and told me that I got to give you my ID, I gave you the card that shows I don't got to give you my ID. And this is all based on Terry versus Ohio. Everything that we're living under right now is Terry. Terry to get out of the car, for the driver, for the passenger. Terry to no-knock raid your house. Terry for DUI checkpoints. Terry to detain you. Terry for torture cuffs. It's all Terry. Everything is Terry. I know it like I know it like I know it. Do you know if you got your pinky or not? Yes, I do. I know I got my pinky right here. Everything we're living under right now is Terry. Officer safety for this, officer safety for that, policy for officer safety. That's all Terry policy created by an unelected Supreme Court, a racist unelected Supreme Court. So I got the 3 winners. Let's give away 3 more. I told you, man. I told you. I'm going to give 10 a day away. I'm going to give 10 of these away. Check your email, everybody. Check your email, everybody. And so after the next 3 people who order anything from my website, after Chris, let me give you I'm going to take a screenshot of this. You guys know how I am. I don't got to explain myself. So after Chris, number 701, Chris 701, the next 3 people who order absolutely anything from my website, I don't care what you order one thing. I'm going to send you the 5A cop card and non-driver cop card today. I'm going to put it in the mail as soon as I get off this live. If I don't put it in the mail tonight, I'll put it in the mail tomorrow morning. I'm big on being straight up. So if I don't get this off tonight, it'll go off tomorrow morning. And my shipping problem is now fixed, everybody. So you all will get your stuff so much faster. All right. You guys understand? DUI checkpoints are Terry versus Ohio. No knock raiding your house is Terry versus Ohio. Shooting you as you run away is Terry versus Ohio. Detainment is Terry versus Ohio. You have to get to the car for officer safety, Pennsylvania versus Mims. That's Terry versus Ohio. They can pull you over on a pretextual stop, 1996, Wren versus United States. That's Terry versus Ohio. Extended. The passenger has to get out of the car, Maryland versus Wilson, 1997. That's Terry versus Ohio. Every single thing bad that can happen to you without you doing anything wrong and the government only being suspicious of you is Terry versus Ohio. I know it, like I know it, like I know it. I put it on a poster. You don't think I'm pretty confident in my knowledge if I put all this stuff on a poster and I sell it for money? Like, I hope you guys are listening. I really do, because it's just so sad what we're living in right now. We're living in a total police state because people don't know their rights. People don't know where their rights came from.
If you do overturn it, that government, no reason crime where America is right now.
So this is part 2 of Overturn Terry.
Shift 6. Oh, schnizzle, my nizzle. All right.
Number 67, John W. Terry et al., petitioners versus Ohio.
So this is everything you need to know about Terry versus Ohio.
I'm saying that the point that you lay your hands on the citizen and you begin to exercise dominion over that citizen on the streets by spinning him around, in order for you to do this, that you must have the probable cause that is required to place a person under arrest, because it's a person.
So in other words, before this case, if they put their hands on you, it's because they were arresting you and they were taking custodial arrest of you.
That's right.
Whereas now they call it the detainment, and they've blurred the lines. If it gets to a point where they put their hands on you, I think it should be like that, because they have probable cause that a crime is afoot or happened already.
Substantially under your custody, your dominion.
Then you mean he can't frisk for a weapon without probable cause to arrest? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Pay very close
I agree with that.
attention. This next part is where we all lose our liberty, where the Fourth Amendment is washed away. Pay very close attention.
In your own court said he still did not have probable cause for arrest. As of this point, we're now at.
The trial court indicated that at this point that there.
The battle between Reuben Payne and Thurgood Marshall, one a white lawyer, one a black Supreme Court appointed justice, appointed because he'll do what he's told, is epic. And Thurgood Marshall allows Reuben Payne to walk over him because he feels lucky to even be on the court.
There was not probable cause for arrest. The appellate court did indicate that there was probable cause for arrest after the frisk took place.
No, I mean, we haven't frisked.
After you stop, after you violated his Fourth Amendment.
And yet.
That is correct.
So he didn't have probable cause to arrest when he approached.
I would agree with this.
So he didn't have probable cause to arrest. That means you don't touch people back then.
Didn't get probable cause, so he put his hand on the butt of the gun.
He didn't get probable cause to arrest
him until he put his hand on the butt of the gun in his inside coat pocket.
No, sir.
Is that right?
No, sir.
Well, when did he get probable cause for arrest?
He received probable cause for arrest.
Listen to this double talk right here. This is how we lose all of our rights. Pay very close attention. You can't touch somebody without probable cause, or it's assault. Pay very close attention to the words that Reuben Payne uses here, and the racist Supreme Court can't wait to jump on board with him.
When he turned Terry around.
No, that's assault. There's no probable cause to arrest, then you can't grab him. If he grabbed him before there's probable cause, that's assault.
He received probable cause for arrest when he turned Terry around and ran his hands over the outside of his clothing and feeling a gun in the upper left breast pocket and indicating emphatically at that time that what I felt was a gun, a weapon.
Well, he didn't have it, as counsel for petitioner says, he didn't have it when he laid hands on him and turned him around.
I would agree with, he did not have probable cause to arrest.
No, he didn't have probable cause at all. He saw a couple Anners downtown and said, I don't like Anners. He literally called them Nners. Martin McFadden was a racist to the core. You weren't allowed to hang around downtown Cleveland, black guy.
I would agree that he would have probable cause to frisk or to lay hands on him at this point.
Why?
Because of the nature of the circumstances and protection of his own life.
The lawyer is telling the Supreme Court justice the constitutionality of probable cause. If the white cop is afraid for his life, that matters more than your civil liberties.
Because of the nature of the circumstances and protection of his own life. I find no problem with this particularly because I do not ask for a different standard of probable cause as it may relate to the right to lawfully arrest a person.
Remember, when they say probable cause, the standard of probable cause is where you have committed a crime. A crime has been committed. A crime has been committed.
Probable cause as it may relate to the right to lawfully.
He does. I find no problem with this particularly because I do not ask for a different standard of probable cause, but you are. You're saying that he saw him and decided he was bad, and so that's now probable cause and you can grab him. It may relate to the right to lawfully arrest a person. You could only arrest a person if there's been probable cause.
For a different standard of probable cause as it may relate to the right to lawfully arrest a person. I think that the quantum of evidence that is basic and essential under the circumstances to establish probable cause for the officer to arrest, for to stop a person and to ask him questions may be somewhat lesser in degree, but by the same token, it is probable cause under any circumstances.
That's incredible. That's incredible. He's saying here that if a cop looks at you and he thinks that you could be armed, that's probable cause.
That really does erase the Fourth Amendment.
Yes.
RES is not in the Constitution.
No.
Doesn't need to be in the Constitution.
It's not.
The founding father said better that 1,000 men, guilty men go free than one innocent man be falsely in prison. That means they're supposed to be out there in favor of us, the people. Instead, they look at all of us as criminals that have to prove themselves innocent to them, the kings and the king's men.
That's basic. If the officer feels as though his safety is in jeopardy because he thinks that maybe you might have a weapon, then it's always probable cause. It's always probable cause. And what's the results of making every officer have probable cause in their mind?
So probable cause went from this to literally turn the Fourth Amendment on its head.
At all times, it's that.
That's the prison industry right there. Every line on the wall represents 100,000 people in the dungeon. So 1968, you can see on the wall, Terry versus Ohio, just like the poster that I give you or you buy. Scroll down, look at Terry versus Ohio on the wall right there, and then just slide your cursor straight down, 300,000 people in prison. As soon as a cop can have probable cause in his mind to believe, you just saw the black woman in the Starbucks parking lot. He has probable cause to believe that she's doing car break-ins. And so he's going to detain her and get her ID and search her car.
That is the result of probable cause right there. You're looking at it. Here's the result of probable cause
all those
of an officer being in fear for his life at all times of you. And he says it. Louis Stokes, he nails it. That is exactly our culture today. That's exactly our culture. You're always a suspect.
The same circumstances are indicated.
What do you understand probable cause to mean? The thing may happen.
The Supreme Court personnel are debating back and forth what probable cause is. Probable cause is when you have broken the law, supported by oath or affirmation, that you've created a victim. That's what probable cause is. There's no need to kick around what it is. You've broken the law and created a victim supported by oath or affirmation.
And to, if I may put it in my own language, I am saying that there was probable cause for the officer to interfere with their freedom of action at this point.
Well, that's what I say.
Interference with their freedom of action is.
Now they're going to say detainment is not arrested. Not in a significant way. Put a 1 in the chat if you've been detained and it was significant. Put a 1 in the chat if being put in torture cuffs is significant. We went from a light pat down outside your trousers to make sure you don't have a gun in case you're black to now everybody has to get on their knees, get on their belly, but in torture cuffs, you're stuck in the back of a caged car.
Not in a significant way at this interfere with their.
And if I may put in my own language, I'm not saying that there was probable cause for the officer to intervene and in their freedom of action at this point, and that such interference with their freedom of action is not in a significant way at that time. Well, if you grab me, number one, I'm a bruiser, so don't go grabbing me. You grab me and you spin me around, you and I are going to have a problem if you're another man. Oh, but you get to do whatever the hell you want to me if you're wearing a badge.
Freedom of action at this point.
Well, that's what I say.
Such interference with their freedom of action is not in a significant way at this time.
Well, that's what I understood for your argument, the use of probable cause. And what you're really doing is saying you don't have to change the label. Still probable cause, and it's still an arrest, but an arrest for the purpose merely of asking a question.
It's the most honest thing there is there, that Terry versus Ohio, if you can stop someone and spin them around, you have arrested their motion. And Brennan is actually saying it here. So it's still an arrest, but just to ask some questions. But you have a Fifth Amendment right. But what are they talking about? A black guy in 1963. Blacks didn't get their rights until 64.
Why are you here? It's a different thing from an arrest for the purpose of taking a station house looking for crimes, you know?
Do you hear what they're doing? They're trying to normalize that police should be able to run up and grab you if they're suspicious of you.
Under Ohio law, I could not agree with this concept because under Ohio law, the definition of arrest is by statute.
By what?
Statute. And it contemplates.
Well, forgetting Ohio law for a moment, how about for the purposes of the Fourth Amendment?
For the purposes for the Fourth Amendment, it would be.
Why would he say forget about Ohio law?
Because federal law, the Fourth Amendment's going to trump any state law.
Action on the part of this officer, and if.
But I thought you agreed with Justice Black before that really reasonable action.
They're just starting to create terms here. There's no such thing as reasonable action in your constitutional rights.
Probable cause are pretty much synonymous terms.
The Supreme Court changed the meaning of words to create the word detained because seized is already in the Constitution. It means arrested.
There was a touching.
What's the difference in seizure and arrest? You may seize it because you seize something tangible, but that's not what you're talking about in the seizure of the Fourth Amendment. I thought it was an arrest. Evidence of arrest.
It is arrest that I understand that we are discussing in this matter.
An officer could very easily.
I mean, listen to how they're mincing and twisting words. They're literally just creating a new vocabulary that is not real or is not constitutional.
Turn the man around without arresting.
I would. It is arrest that I understand that we are discussing in this matter.
An officer could very easily turn the man around without arresting.
I agree with this, and this is the position that I take.
Not be easy, depending on his size.
That he could very easily turn the man around, and some may term that as a seizure.
KKK member Hugo Black is trying to argue that seizing you is not arresting you if it's not for the intent to take you to the dungeon.
That's nonsense. Seizure is a stop. They stop your motion. You can't go anywhere. You are seized. When your engine seizes up, what's it doing? It stops. It's seized up. It stopped. When your grandma seizes up, she stopped. The DUI checkpoints, when they stop you there, they have seized you in your car. You have been seized by the government.
You're really not seized unless you're taken to the dungeon. He's trying to say, well, that's not what it means constitutionally.
That's garbage.
He's a Supreme Court justice supposedly standing up for our civil liberties.
But I would not term it as a seizure of the person himself unless he has the intention of taking that person into custody, even though he may lay hands on him at that particular time. The first seizure of the person was at the time that he ordered them into the store.
You mean when he took Terry and swung him around, there was no seizure of the person?
I think there was a temporary detaining or interference with his
Well, he had
person.
his hands on him and he switched them around. Surely there was no seizure of the person.
But here again, we're dealing in simply semantic words.
Oh, I'm
And-
asking that.
Semantic words. Semantic words. A guy with a gun with the power of the state coming up and grabbing you becomes semantic. No.
That word's in the Fourth Amendment, isn't it?
Agreed as it is, sir.
Play that back again. Listen to what they're doing. They're changing the definition of detained. Because when detained means seized, he says, isn't that word in the Fourth Amendment? Against unreasonable searches and seizures? But now detained doesn't mean seized in what world? At the Supreme Court. At the Supreme Court. Because if you've been seized and you've been arrested, and you can't be arrested on reasonable suspicion. You have to be arrested on.
So they gave him a Fourth Amendment buffer zone here by passing this Terry versus Ohio.
Probable cause.
By 1,000 miles.
That the defendants were conducting themselves suspiciously, and some interrogation should be made of their action. 5, there was reasonable cause in this case for the officer to approach these individuals and pat them down. Here,
I still don't have my 3 winners for the 5A cop car driver and non-driver. I'm looking for the next 3 purchases from anything from my website, and I'm going to mail you the driver, non-driver, 5A cop card in the mail as soon as this live stream is over. I still don't have my 3 winners. The next 3 people who go to my website, deletelaws.com, I'm going to send you this poster, my ebook, the trifold, and I'm going to mail you in the mail this 5A cop card. I still don't have 3 winners yet. I have 1. I'm still waiting for 2 more orders, and then I will announce the 3 winners of the 5A cop card. Still waiting. So if you get your order in now, I announced this 10 minutes ago. It's very likely that you're going to win the 5A cop. I got to get these out into the public. I've got to get these out, but they cost me $8 a piece. So I can't just ship them out. You know what I mean? I got to make it so that I break even at least.
there is a decided attempt on the part of the trial judge to equate and balance the rights of the individual with the rights of the public and the safety that is involved herein as it pertains to the officer in this particular case.
The Terry laws that we live under today were not written by a legislator. Congressperson writes a bill that's a law, and then the president signs the law into effect. This is our constitutional process. The Terry laws were not signed into effect by the president of the United States. That's not what happened. The Terry laws that we are
Terry policies
forced to live under today were written by a Cuyahoga County trials judge named Bernard Friedman.
The trial judge made these remarks. A police officer cannot, as far as this court is concerned, and will not be permitted to stop and frisk an individual simply because he has a suspicion, a mere suspicion, unless there are reasonable circumstances justifying the frisk. When the circumstances justify and there is reasonable suspicion, and for his own personal protection, he may frisk to determine if there are weapons for his personal safety.
You read what I wrote down here, the classic unless. You have your rights unless officer safety is in question. This is unbelievable. Ruben Payne is laying out how officer safety is paramount over your civil liberties. He's literally laying it out. The officer assigned to the area in which he had been placed during the job he had been doing and had reasonable cause to believe and to suspect that the defendants were conducting themselves suspiciously, and some interrogation should be made of their actions. But he had no probable cause. He had no suspicion. He just saw black guys downtown, didn't like it.
The officer assigned in the area which he had been placed.
Read what I wrote on the right here. Terry laws. Officer safety is over your civil liberties. Cops can walk up to you, be suspicious, and then you must let them frisk you. Today, Terry law equals a POW style of arrest upon suspicion. Probable cause is now whatever the cop believes in his mind, and we just saw that with the Starbucks thing.
Doing the job he had been doing and had reasonable cause to believe and to suspect.
Probable cause is not probable cause to see or probable cause to believe. That's not possible. How can probable cause to see be supported by oath or affirmation? The cop swears, he promises that he believes he was in danger. So your civil liberties have to go.
that the defendants were conducting themselves suspiciously and some interrogation should be made of their action. There was reasonable cause in this case for the officer to approach these individuals and pat them down.
What was
Here
the
is a decided attempt.
what was the reasonable cause? Now called reasonable suspicion, but what was the reasonable cause?
On the part of the trial judge to equate and balance the rights of the individual with the rights of the public and the safety that is involved herein as it pertains to the officer in this particular case.
This next part is where the Supreme Court personnel will inject that this entire thing is about officer safety.
And here there is no suggestion, is there, that the policeman had any basis for fear as to his own safety?
The Supreme Court personnel created officer safety. Martin McFadden was never afraid of John Terry. He was a deep racist who hated blacks. He never feared blacks. He walked up to 3 blacks, 2 of them had guns on them, and grabbed them. Would you walk up to 3 people if you thought they had guns and walk up and grab them if you were afraid of them? Hell no. Had nothing to do with fear.
Officer safety.
And here there is no suggestion, is
Abe
there,
Fortas, racist.
that the policeman had any basis for fear as to his own safety? Am I right? If there's nothing in the record that indicates
There's
that.
nothing in the record whatsoever.
I don't understand your answer to Justice Fortas when you said there's nothing in the record to indicate that the policeman didn't have concern for his own personal safety, because I thought he said that based on his intuition, he thought these people were casing a place in order to rob it. Isn't that what he said?
This is what he said.
Well, presumably then they would be armed, and the minute he walked up and talked to them, he would quite reasonably be concerned for his own personal safety, I should think.
Well, police officers are very often in position where they might not be able to make an actual arrest, but they are in a position of great danger.
And why are they in a position of great danger? Because the blacks. They're in position of great danger because there's black people around here.
To make an actual
They're in a position of great danger because policemen back then primarily focused on enforcing black codes.
But they are in a position of great danger. Where they are
Great
in a
danger.
position of great danger, are they in a position to protect themselves from violence by looking into the situation to see if anyone is armed to do the violence?
That's not Earl Warren's job. That is not Earl Warren's job. Earl Warren is not supposed to worry about how the policeman feels. But he's doing this because the police unions in America have tried to impeach Earl Warren for passing the 1961 case of Mapp versus Ohio. After Mapp versus Ohio, after Dolores Mapp gets off of her conviction, and then they pass fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine, which means that any search without probable cause is then inadmissible, he then reverses himself in 1967 on the Terry case. And why does he do it? Because the cops are trying to get him impeached. Remember, he's been a Freemason. He's written the policies for different police departments. Earl Warren's a piece of shit. Oh, but he did Brown versus Board of Education. He only desegregated America so that he could know what was going on in black churches, black restaurants, black hospitals, black establishments. Earl Warren didn't. Remember, he's the one that locked up 150,000 Japanese people, advising FDR in 1942, just a couple of months after the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, to lock up every Japanese American in the United States. They put concentration camps in Grand Central Park. FDR is the only president in U.S. history to put concentration camps in America. And who advised him to do that? Earl Warren did. So you think in 1954, he's like, man, I want to be a humanitarian. Let's desegregate the blacks. Not at all. Not at all. Not even kind of, sort of. I can't give you the decades of research I've done on this stuff. I can just teach it to you. Earl Warren was a racist, Freemason, piece of shit, authoritarian. Straight up. And when he actually did a couple things that were constitutional, like Mapp versus Ohio, the police revolted and tried to have him impeached. Literally, you can find pictures of police picketing outside of his offices in D.C. So now he's talking, what's he saying now? Well, aren't policemen in a place of great danger? Dude, your job on the Supreme Court, your job is to uphold our constitutional rights. If someone gets grabbed without probable cause, you're supposed to say, I don't care if it's a cop, if he fears for his life or not, You can't go grabbing people. We have founding documentation, but that's not what he did. He decided how it would go. He told the other justices how they would vote, and he pushed through Terry versus Ohio, which now has dozens of cases that spur from it using jurisprudence. I listed them earlier.
Yes, Mr. Chief Justice, he certainly has a right of self-defense, and he has a right to protect himself.
Just atrocious.
Self-defense means defense. It doesn't mean offense. There's a difference.
Listen to Louis Stokes.
Whether with or without reasonable cause, he thought or suspected that these were armed robbers about ready to hold up a place. And I suppose if you walk up to such people and begin asking them embarrassing questions, you might have some little concern for your safety if you bona fide believe that they have weapons on them. Now, that much is in the record.
How much do you think he was afraid of black guys, Potter? Take a look at Potter Stewart. How racist do you think he was, and how much do you think he feared the black man?
Well, then you should call back up, stand behind your cars, get out the megaphones. Except you didn't see nothing. It was all speculation.
Yes, sir.
No, is that so? Excuse me, but is that so? Does the record show that he thought these men were armed before he put his hands on them?
Yes, after he says that he thought they might be casing the place, and I felt that they might have guns. He
said he testified to that, but
yes, he did.
Don't you think he'd be justified in the first instance in confirming whether or not they did have weapons before he went on further to interrogate? On the premise that it was reasonable for him to think if they had weapons.
Take a situation of this kind where a police officer sees someone acting very peculiar. Might not be in connection with any information he has about any crime. Maybe the person is abnormal mentally. Maybe he thinks he's insane, and he wants to talk to him, but the man shows indications of he thinks of violence, and he wants to be sure that he won't be attacked when he goes to talk to him. And he goes up to speak to him, and also ascertains whether he has any weapon on him. Did you think he had a right to do that? As a matter of probable cause that he might be.
I'm sorry. Earl Warren's a Chief Justice of the United States. As a matter of probable cause, do you think he had a right to do that as a matter of probable cause? There was no probable cause. Probable cause is when you have broken the law, and that is affirmed by oath or affirmation of the victim. That's what the Fourth Amendment means. So I don't know what the hell this double talking, he just knows he's being a devil, a demon.
The right to do that?
Do we think he had a right to do that?
As a matter of probable cause.
There was no probable cause, you dick.
That he might be injured himself if he doesn't take.
Look, that's not probable cause. That's
right. Thanks,
worried about getting hurt.
Precautions.
The average police officer would do this under the.
Louis Stokes just shits in his hands and wipes it all over his own face. The worst representation I've ever seen of anybody ever.
These circumstances, if he felt himself to be in any type of danger, that he would conduct a search for the purpose of protecting his own life in a possibly dangerous situation.
You don't tell the Supreme Court that you're arguing that police shouldn't have the right to run up and grab you, and then say, well, this is what a police officer would probably do anyway.
Mr. Justice, I'm sorry if I'm giving you the impression that the police officer cannot ask him a question.
I said can ask him a question, but cannot get an answer and do nothing about it.
He can arrest him if he chooses.
He can arrest him. But suppose he doesn't choose to arrest him.
Then
suppose he wants to do something short.
And I don't think he has that right.
If you read a little biography on Hugo Black, he said that he left the KKK. This is him in 1968.
So, anyone find part 3?
John talks to his audience here for 1 second. They talk back and forth.
Part 3.
Part 3. I'm going to announce the winners in a second. I'm going to announce the winners of the 5A
Number
Cop Card.
67, John W. Terry et al., petitioners versus Ohio.
So this is everything you need to know about Terry versus Ohio.
Then the man can go on, not answer questions, because the officer doesn't have at that time sufficient amount of evidence to make a case of probable cause of guilt of committed crime.
That's precisely what I'm saying.
Hugo Black is born in 1886, 10 years before legal segregation in Alabama. There's 16 lynchings in Alabama before he's 10 years old. And then in 1896, when he's 10, legal racial segregation begins, the beginning of Jim Crow laws. And what has Hugo Black seen his entire life in Alabama? The Jim Crow Act, which means black people are feeble-minded. Their brains haven't evolved all the way. He's the senator of Alabama from 19...
Our government used to pass laws that said this stuff.
It's worse than you can imagine.
That's pretty damn shocking, man.
Yeah, it's worse than
27 to 1937. Hugo Black is appointed by Franklin Delano Roosevelt in 1937. And from 1937 all the way up.
So what you guys are seeing right here was the original draft of the poster that I give away for free now. To put this draft right here together that you're looking at took me a year. You see what it's kind of just easily sliding across the screen. This took me a year to build this. And now I give it away for free.
Up until 1964, Hugo Black has not applied civil liberties to black people. The Supreme Court has not applied civil liberties to black people. So in 1968, that's the reason why you hear Hugo Black saying the things he's saying. Of course, black people have to answer to police. His entire life, they haven't had a Fifth Amendment right. It's a shocker to him to hear.
That's a good point. The Fifth Amendment to him only applied to certain people.
White people.
That black people would not have to answer questions to police. I mean, go back and listen to what he says here.
He wants to do something short of it, but cannot get an answer and do nothing about it.
Suppose he wants to do something else. What is that? What do you mean? What do you mean do something else? What does that mean exactly? What does that mean exactly? What does that mean exactly, Hugo? What do you mean by that, Hugo? Hugo, what do you mean by that?
Hugo.
What do you mean by that? Well, we know what he means by that.
I said can ask him a question, but cannot get an answer and do nothing about it.
You can't talk about Terry versus Ohio unless we talk about the Warren court. Earl Warren is facing impeachment by the police. They're picketing up and down the freeways saying impeach Earl Warren because he passed Matt versus Ohio, which is the start of the exclusionary rule, that police can't just run roughshod over your civil liberties and then present evidence. It's called fruit of the poisonous tree. They got evidence off of you by violating your civil liberties. Matt versus Ohio stopped that, and the police hated him for it. They hated Earl Warren for doing that. You can hear it when he talks. You can listen to his voice during the Terry trial that he is taking a dive, essentially.
Folks, I wonder if that's going to be broken down a little. I wonder what you would say to this. Of course, a police officer does have the right to investigate crime. And this police officer in this instance had the right to investigate crime.
There was no crime. He was being black downtown Cleveland in 1963.
What was John Terry's crime? What did he do wrong? He was walking around on the street in the daytime talking to other people. It's 2:30 in the afternoon.
On Halloween.
He's walking around on the street speaking to other people. And they had a conversation. And then he went over and talked to this man. And they had a conversation. And then he stationed himself over there.
He did see what one might well say were suspicious acts on the part of people whom he thought might be preparing to commit a crime. He had a right, did he not, to pursue that farther, to determine whether or not he would have.
The cop has rights. You don't.
Have probable cause, perhaps for an arrest.
He said that police have the right, do they not, to walk up to you as you're minding your own business and investigate you. No, Earl, no, they don't. And why does he think that way? He's born in 1891. Earl Warren is supposed to be the defenders of our civil liberties, our right to be free. And instead, he's saying, don't police have the right to walk up to you and question you on the street?
Honestly, if it wasn't for the ability for everybody to have a camera now and the ability to record, this stuff would have all been kept going on, gotten worse over the years. It's technology that's really put a dent in the tyranny that Americans have been facing for decades. And what I'm scared of is that now video, video don't lie, but nowadays, and as AI gets better, the video is, the video won't be able to be trusted, and it's going to have to be run through several verification softwares to make sure it's real, and etc. So we're past the video age. When in your life did you think that you got video, you're gold? We're going past the point where video can be discredited.
We're heading
That's
there.
what he just said.
Pursuant to that, he went to talk to these men. Now, because of the nature of the crime, that he suspected a robbery, he felt that when he went into the company of these three men against himself alone, that he was in a dangerous position.
No, McFadden never said any of that, Earl Warren. You did. You made that up. You made that up with the other white Supreme Court justices. He never said he was in fear for his life. It was the middle of the afternoon on Halloween. There were hundreds of people around. McFadden never feared for his life. You guys created that. You made that up. It's not in any transcript. McFadden never says he was in fear from his life from three black guys. It was two black guys and one white guy named Katz.
And that therefore he had probable cause to see if they had weapons on. Not because he had probable cause to believe they had committed the crime, but because in investigating the matter, he had probable cause to believe that his life was in danger.
I think it's important that you understand what probable.
How he created the whole situation in his head, the whole thing.
Cause is. Probable cause is when you have broken the law. That's what you can get arrested for. Probable cause supported by oath is when a cop sees you break the law. Or you've created a victim out of someone, you've assaulted them, and they called and they're swearing by oath that you committed probable cause and you broke the law. I just want you to understand, probable cause is when you have broken the law. You crossed on a red, someone called and said that you assaulted them. Earl Warren saying that the cop has probable cause to see is actually impossible. The words don't make sense. He's making things up as he goes.
Under those circumstances.
Under the circumstances you make up, under the circumstances that you just create, the cop believes that there's an armed robbery, and so now he can respond to those people as though there's an armed robbery. What a load of shit.
Would you think that he did or did not have a right to ascertain whether he was in a position of danger by seeing if they had weapons?
Only if we're going to relax the standard of probable cause as we know it under the Fourth Amendment.
As you can hear, Earl Warren is doing absolutely everything to work against our civil liberties to be free. He's working on the side of officer safety that was never brought up. McFadden had zero fear of those guys on the street. It was broad daylight. He felt completely entitled to walk up to them and bully them and push them around. It was never about officer safety. So it's astonishing to listen to Earl Warren push this argument for officer safety over your civil liberties, because the functionality of the Supreme Court is supposed to be to defend our civil liberties at all costs. Defend the civil liberties that are your God-given rights. Listen to this next part carefully. Thurgood Marshall is going to give the best arguments there are as to why this case shouldn't even be in court. And then he's going to destroy Martin McFadden. He's going to destroy his character. He's going to destroy his ability. He's going to destroy everything about Martin McFadden. You have to listen carefully.
Well, Mr. Payne, in this case, this arresting officer testified, did he not, that he had never seen anybody case a joint.
That is correct. He did so testify.
He also testified that he'd been on that same area for some 30 years doing the following thing: checking for pickpockets and shoplifting.
That is correct.
So
I'm going to grab a drink, but I'll bring you up afterwards if you want to talk about it.
Where did he get his expertise about somebody's about to commit a robbery?
I think that he would get his expertise by virtue of the fact that he had been a member of the police department for 40 years. And by being a member of the police department for 40 years, I'm quite sure that even if by osmosis, some knowledge would have to come to him of the various degrees of crimes.
Now we get intuition by osmosis.
Not at all, sir. Not at all. Not at all. I did not mean, I didn't mean.
Thurgood Marshall apologizes for making a very good point because the courtroom laughed and he can't be upstaging the white Supreme Court personnel. Remember the 48 laws of power. Rule number 1, never outshine the master. Well, who's the master? Earl Warren, the Freemason.
Intuition by
him of the various degrees of crimes.
Now we get intuition by osmosis.
Not at all, sir.
He's going to apologize.
Not at all. Not at all. I did not mean. I didn't mean to imply that, nor did I mean any disrespect by so using that particular term. I think that, for example, I, as a lawyer, am around a particular office for a number of years. I certainly must gain knowledge about various concepts of law that may come about from time to time.
There are exceptions to that.
Exceptions are Martin McFadden, who was a beat cop in the same place for 40 years, investigating pickpockets on the street.
I would agree with the court in these circumstances also.
It's a funny joke, right? The thing is, though, Reuben Payne is correct. Reuben Payne is spot on in his analysis of learning policing, being on the job for 40 years. Remember, Martin McFadden's job up until from 1924 to 1954, 20 years, was to enforce black codes, which meant to instill fear in the black community and to be suspicious of black people and to arrest them. After 1954, there's a no man's land from 1954 to 1964. In 1963, Martin McFadden says he's suspicious of John Terry. He doesn't like how he looks. What had he been doing for the 20 years before 1954?
Well, seriously, Mr. Payne, the point is that the only thing he noticed was a man leave from position talking to another man and go across the street, look in the window, and go back. Now, number one, you'll agree that everybody that looks in a public window is not casing a joint.
Agreed.
But they did do it twice or 3 times. How many times?
It was
not too clear to me in the record.
May I then, in response to the justice's question, indicate, first of all, and clarify this. His testimony was not that he didn't like them. His testimony was that he didn't like their looks. Now, I don't think that he meant by that any reference to pigmentation or anything else.
Yes, he did.
And anyone with 2 eyes in his head and was roughly normal vision can look around him and see that there's a vast and permanent difference between the white and colored people. That, as Abraham Lincoln so wisely said a number of years ago, would forever prohibit them from living on terms of equality in the same society. That, just in a nutshell, is the reason.
I think that he meant by that, when we take the entire record into consideration, the fact that this was in a downtown area.
But then your own court said he still did not have probable cause for arrest. As of this point, we're now at.
The trial court indicated that at this point that there was not probable cause for arrest. The appellate court did indicate that there was probable cause for arrest after the frisk took place.
No, I mean, we haven't frisked him yet.
That is correct.
So he didn't have probable cause to arrest when he approached.
I would agree with this.
And he didn't get probable cause, so he put his hand on the butt of the gun.
He didn't get probable cause to arrest
him until he put his hand on the butt of the gun in his inside coat pocket.
No, sir.
Counsel for petitioner says he didn't have it when he laid hands on him and turned him around.
I would agree with, he did not have probable cause to arrest.
Right.
I would agree that he would have probable cause to frisk or to lay hands on him at this point.
What? No. You're just literally changing words.
Why?
Yes.
Because of the nature of the circumstances and protection of his own life.
He didn't see a go. He didn't say he saw a gun bulging or anything like that.
No, he did not say that he saw a gun bulging. He indicated that they were casing a joint for a robbery, which implies a crime of violence, which implies that they have a gun, which implies a crime of violence, which implies that they have a gun.
You implied all that through the narrative you created in your own head. It's made up fantasy.
And then Thurgood Marshall will vote for Terry laws.
All right. I don't think there's any more of that, but
there's more.
Someone said they wanted to come up, so let's do this.
So now it's gone to, can you guys tell me who was the last name that I read? What was the last name that I read? Because I have 3 winners now for the 5A cop card. What was the last order number that I read that I said the next 3 people? Right on, man. Appreciate your subscription. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and then drop down in the comment section, OTVO. What was the last one that I read? I said I was going to give away 3 5A cop cards, and then I read a number. I said this was the last order number. If someone can let me know what that is. I'm looking at the comments right now, trying to find that last order number. What's going on, Joe? Scrubzilla, what's going on, my friend? Russian, April, how are you? Nice to see you. Tube Sock, what is going on, my friend? Reading off some names here, just saying hello to a few people. CC, what's going on? Tommy, how are you? Alarcia, how are you? Milena, how are you? It's so good to see you. James, Michael Dolan, Walter, what's going on? Sir Richard, the Lionheart, what's going on? Basin Truth, Brick, what's going on, my friend? So good to see you guys, man. It's so good to see everybody here. It's been a good week. 1013 Steven, what's going on, my friend? Taco Cat, I never saw your video, brother. You said you had a video. I never saw it. Top Rock, what is going on? What is going on? Tommy is in here. Bruce is in here. Haven't seen a Chevy yet today. Looking for that Chevy dog. I thought I saw In Cope Dog in here earlier. Peter Parker. SWE Observer. Adam is in here. What is going on, my friend? Bruce, I mailed you your 5A cop card, so you're going to get that in the mail. Dan Hanlon is here. What's going on, Dan? How are you, buddy? Josephine, good to see you. Good to see you. Mr. Pickle, what's going on, sir? How are you? Dr. Donna, I sent off your 5A cop card a couple days ago. You should be getting your 5A cop card in the mail. Oh, Cope Dog had to go, Daryl? Thanks for letting me know that. Guys, let me know that last number that I said so I can pick the next 3 people. The next 3 people. You're welcome, Bruce. There was a number I said a few minutes ago, and I said I'm going to give away 3 more 5A cop cards, but what was that number? Because a lot of people, if you get my periodicals, I give them away for free. That goes into my receipts. And so I get a bunch of, 000, and I want to give away 3 5A cop cards to the next 3 people. Oh, dude. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate you, dude. Right on, man. Hey, brother, chill. I bought more stuff. Hoping for the cards. I hope so for two, Joe. Oh, you just got the trifold, Soyleel? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, do it. We have to have a trifold in every car in America, whether you bought it from me or you got it from Soy or however you get the trifold in your car. If you can support the mission, then purchase it. But if you can't, however you get that trifold in your car, get it in your car. It is no skin off my back. You are not hurting my process. You are not stealing from me in any way, shape, or form. Get that trifold in your car. Get that trifold in your son's car, in your dad's car. Get this trifold and get it in your car. It makes me so happy. I'm not sure if you guys saw yesterday or not, but someone sent me in a picture. This is the trifold right here. Get this trifold in your car. You can get it on deletelaws.com. Go to deletelaws.com with a Z and get this trifold and get it put in your car. There's absolutely no reason why you should not have the trifold in your car. And you have to state when the cops come up, 5th Amendment, I invoke the right to remain silent. You have to actually say the words. Yep, that's exactly right, Brooke. You got to be in the touchdown position. Phone should be here, right here. And the cop comes up, you slide your license registration, give it to him. He asks you any questions. You immediately invoke your 5th Amendment right to remain silent, and then you stop talking. If he asks you any more questions, most of the questions he's going to ask you are going to be right there on that trifold. Don't ask me where I'm coming from. Don't ask me where I'm going. Don't ask me where I've been. Don't ask me if I've been drinking. If I have a gun, I'll take no tests, no searches or seizures. Use the address on my ID. And, someone asked me yesterday, they sent me an email question and I didn't have a chance to answer it. So as you can see from watching the 3 parts of Overturn Terry, our Fourth Amendment right is completely gone. Our Fourth Amendment right has been stripped away, completely ripped away. And so anybody else get the poster? Let me know if you guys got the poster. I sent it off to so many people just now. So if you get pulled over and the cops say that they want to search your car and you don't have this trifold on you and you don't have it ready to go, then you may not be able to do the Fourth Amendment trick to re-invoke your Fourth Amendment right. The cops pull you over and they say, hey, can I search your car? I think I smell something coming out of there. So he's saying he has RAS. Of course, there's Commonwealth versus Barr that says that you can then say to him, but let's just say you think this cop, this Jackboot Thug Pig is going to search your car anyway. And this is for the email question I got yesterday. If the cop says, can I search your car? Then he's asking you for permission to give your Fourth Amendment right to him. And so you might say, as you're filming, of course, everything has to be on camera or it didn't happen. You say to the guy, oh, you want to search my car? Sure, you can search my car. And then he's going to say, okay, step out. We're going to start the search. You go, okay. You step out of the car. As soon as they put their little pig hooves right in your car, you say, wait a minute, officer, I revoke consent. The U.S. versus Williams case, 2018, it's actually not a SCOTUS case. It's a Third Circuit case. Little typo there. But the SCOTUS case is the 1991 case of Florida versus Gemino, which is the jurisprudence for United States versus Williams. So they're both applicable. So if you give consent to the cop and he says, can I search? And if you're doing it on film, let's say you do have a bag of chemicals in your car and you have a bag of chemicals in your car and he asks to search your car, he is now giving you back your power because he's going to ask you for your Fourth Amendment. And then you say, sure, you can search my car. He says, step out. You say, no problem. As soon as he starts to put his hands in your car, you say, officer, I'm so sorry. I revoke consent. The 2018 case of United States versus Williams, which the jurisprudence is the 1991 case of Florida versus Gemino, says that if you know the cop is going to search your car, if you give consent for search, you can revoke consent moments later. You just have to, just like Salinas versus Texas from 2013, you just have to state out loud, I unequivocally revoke the right to search my car. Here and now, I revoke consent. You see? So, I mean, it's not just so simple. James down here, good to see you, James. It's not that simple anymore. It's not as simple as going, no, you can't search my car. Put a 1 in the chat if you've told the cop, no, he can't search your car, and he did it anyway. I mean, let me put my 1 in there before I was who I am today. Put a 1 in the chat if you have told the cop said, hey, can I search your car? And you said no. And then they got you out of the car and searched it anyway. Well, that all changed, like John Felix was saying, with the new digital cameras. Because now I can record everything. And now if I give consent to search and then moments later I revoke consent and I show him the law that I'm using and that I've invoked my Fourth Amendment right by using United States versus Williams, that goes around his qualified immunity. What it also does is if that cop finds your bag of chocolate in the car, it's inadmissible in court. It's fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine. You asked for the man's Fourth Amendment rights. He gave them to you, and then he revoked them and took his rights back. Any bag of chocolate you found in the car is now inadmissible. It's fruit of the poisonous tree. The only way we know that it's fruit of the poisonous tree is because the guy recorded it. We saw you do it. We saw you do it. I don't have a P.O. box, Taco Cat, so I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about, my friend. So you have to understand how that works, but it doesn't work if you don't have a trifold in your car. That's why I said to you, whether you purchase it from me or not, or I give it to you for free, or you get the $9 downloadable one, once you have the PDF on your hard drive, just print it out. Put 10 in your car. So you can always just reach it off the floor and grab one with your McDonald's bags or whatever is on the floor, right? I'll show you guys something. I will show you guys something here. I want to show you this. Oh man, this is a tough one. All right, we'll watch this, and then do me a favor, y'all. If you could please, I need to know the last 3 winners of the giveaway. I don't ever want to miss anybody on a giveaway, so I need to know the last. That says, didn't they appeal the award? They'll probably get 4.5 million. I'm not sure, Shakur. I'm not exactly sure. Chille, can you say a very strong statement we can say to the pigs, Ari, us suing and going after the job that scares them? Sure, I can say it to you all I want, but the absolute best way to do it is to use the 5A cop card, the non-driver especially, because it's on both of them. But right there, it says it says right here, when you invoke your 5th Amendment right, number 2, cop cited, you start filming, you invoke your 1st Amendment right. Look at number 2 on here. Cop approaches and says any alleged infraction or questions you. While filming with your camera, you say, I've given the cop all the legal documents. I invoke my 5th Amendment right to remain silent. This is Rourke. This is for you. 5th Amendment is unequivocal. Cop loses qualified immunity for questioning you. Because we all have been there where we get pulled over and they say, well, where are you coming from? Where are you going? You sure you don't have any weed in the car? You've been drinking? Where, does your mom live here? Are you from this area? Are you from somewhere else? How long you had this car? Is this car registered in your name? Who owns this car? Is this your car? It's right there. Cop loses his qualified immunity. Now, because you've said the words that I put in yellow on here, I invoke my 5th Amendment right to remain silent. Notice it does not say I don't answer questions. That's not what the card says. The card literally follows the unjust, unelected, white supremacist, unconstitutional Supreme Court. And what it says, plain as day, is I invoke my 5th Amendment right to remain silent. Because in the 2013 case of Salinas versus Texas, they made it so that we have to say the words, I invoke my 5th Amendment right. You have to say those words. And then in the dissent, I believe Justice O'Connor said, what you're doing is making it so people who are ignorant of the law are going to be at a disadvantage. You now are no longer ignorant of the law. I don't answer questions is not saying I plead the 5th Amendment. That's not what it's saying. That's not saying I invoke my 5th Amendment right to remain silent. And then you can show the cop the card right there. Your First Amendment, cop approaches and states the alleged infraction. I invoke my 5th Amendment right. And then right below it in the navy blue, the law, 5th Amendment's unequivocal. Cop loses qualified immunity for questioning you. But you have to have everything on you. You have to have everything on you. You have to have your camera on you, and you have to have the literature in your hand. In your car, you should have a trifold anyway, because right there, I invoke my 5th Amendment right to remain silent. If you violate my 5th Amendment right on camera, that goes around your qualified immunity. There's your strong statement work. If you're American and you live in the United States, that's how you say it. Okay? That's your strong statement. This goes around your qualified immunity. If you question me further, you lose qualified immunity, and I'll sue your Jackboot Thug Pig ass. Now get back there and do your job and stop harassing me. I mean, I'm pretty bold though. You know that. I'm pretty bold. What was the last order number that I read off? I was going to give away I am going to give away 3 5A cop cards. Let's give away one more. Let me tell you the last order number I have. Let's give away one more, just one more, and we're going to watch a little video here. I believe the last order that came in, and now I'm going to remember this. I may write it down. The last order that came in was 709 Lars. 709 Lars. That was the last order that came in. So the next person who orders absolutely anything from my website, I'm going to mail you in the mail the 5A cop car driver and non-driver soon as this live stream is over, or tomorrow morning. All right.
Why you guys are picking on me? I haven't done a damn thing wrong. So we're in Hamtramck here. Now the city of Hamtramck wants to stop me and say I have to have a driver's license to drive, but I don't need one to travel. So this is where we're at.
Look at that. And you got a ponytail.
Now we'll have another lawsuit if they violate my rights, and they're sworn to uphold the Constitution. So
the Constitution is interpreted by the Supreme Court, and the policies created by the Supreme Court then adjust our Constitution. Look at that car. How ridiculous is that? It's just ridiculous. We've created a ridiculous system, and we've allowed it to happen. Just horrible. Next person who orders anything from my site gets a 5A cop card for free. Next person. Next person.
Sergeant. That's who I want to talk to. You're the sergeant?
She doesn't belong in that position, friends. I'm sorry. You got to be kidding me. What a joke.
Sir, the supervisor is here.
Okay.
What a joke. What a joke. What a joke. What an absolute joke. I could beat her up and take away her weapons. I could beat her up in about 2 seconds. One of my elbows would destroy her. I could beat her ass in 2 seconds flat, take her weapons away from her, and kidnap her. I'm just telling you. I mean, it's a fact. She's 125, 130 pounds. I'm under 200 now. Now I'm 192. I think I'm 192 because I changed my diet for my high blood pressure. I could beat her up, take away her weapons, kidnap her, take her kidnapped if I wanted to. She couldn't stop me. She could walk up to me with all the power in the world and try to flex her authority. I could hold her down on the ground. I could do worse to her. Of course, I wouldn't do those things, but she couldn't stop me. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree that my old ass could beat the piss out of that female cop and take away all of her weapons and put her in her own torture cuffs. I could. She would have no chance against me. Zero. Almost zero. I mean, if we're far enough away, she may be able to get her gun out and shoot me. But if we're standing 3 feet away and I decide I want to beat the shit out of that chick, I could beat the piss out of her. 2 seconds flat. As soon as she squeals or screams, as a man who's chivalrous, as soon as we hear a woman scream, we change. Men change. Oh, shoot, we got to save that woman. Police don't agree with women police. People say, oh, you're a chauvinist, you this or that. I don't care what you think. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. That she's going to stand. Look how far her arms are from her side. Honey, I have a big back. My arms don't dangle from my sides like that. Look at her arms. Look how she's standing. Right. I mean, James Barnes here, 6'2", 280, solid at 59. James Barnes could beat the piss out of that woman in 2 seconds flat and take away her weapons. It's just so preposterously stupid. We are not equal. If you're a man, you can't give birth to a child. You can't. You can get some weird ass, crazy, wacko surgery. I guess you could, but you can't. You can't give birth to a child. Exactly correct. David T's got it. Use the address on my ID. You should have had, don't ask me how to pronounce my name. Oh, I see, David. Yeah, maybe I will in the next round. I'm not going to be fake. You know, there's hundreds of thousands of people who watch, even as YouTube has me so shadow banned, you have no idea. I can't get any traction on any videos. Still 8 million people a month watch my videos on this channel. So I'm not going to be fake. I can't be fake. If I'm fake, I'll get called out. I'll get caught. You know what I mean? You can't be like, oh, I'm pro-choice. And then, oh no, I'm pro-life. Oh no, I'm pro-choice. Oh no, I'm pro-life. you just can't have two opinions and be a public figure and have any. It's just your people will leave you. Even you good people. If, by the way, you good people here, if I start lying and being a fraud, leave me. Do not accept a watered down version of authentic, because it's just not worth it.
Sir, the supervisor is here.
Okay, I'd like to talk to him.
Again,
I would like to talk to
the reason
him.
for the stop, that's fine, you can record, sir. I'm recording you as well.
That's fine.
The reason for the stop was for
I want to
proper
talk.
display of plate.
Okay.
Okay, because there was dust and dirt on the plate. You do not have a valid plate on there. It looks like it's a carbon plate. Okay, so
I need to speak.
I need your
to the
driver's
sergeant.
license. Okay.
I want to speak to the sergeant. I have not committed a crime. I'm not surrendering my ID.
Sir, improper display of plate is a civil infraction. Failing to provide your driver's license, you will be going to jail for failing to identify.
I'm not required. Let me speak to the supervisor.
The supervisor is here, and he advised me the same thing as I told you earlier, sir.
No,
Are you going to provide your driver's license, or
No.
you would be going to jail?
No, I'm not.
The last three winners of the 5A cop card are David H. in Florida, David H., Frank in Ohio, Frank S. in Ohio, and Corey M. in Modesto, California. You three won the 5A cop card from the last drawing. So let me go ahead and get the envelope and get those out to you guys. 1 second.
Okay.
Look at that. Look at that. Did you see that? Number one, he's got a gang symbol on his chest, wearing a thin blue terrorist flag. And now listen to the words, and then look how quickly he's got the torture cuffs right on the front of his jacket now. That's where they wear them now. Used to wear them in the back in the 80s and 90s. Now they go right out front prominently so they can just cuff you right away.
Let me speak to the supervisor.
He wants to speak to a supervisor, which is his right.
The supervisor is here, and he advised me the same thing as I told you earlier, sir.
So if the supervisor's there, then bring him over. He wants to speak to him.
No.
Are you going to provide your driver's license, or
No.
you would be going to jail?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
And he goes to grab him. What a psycho. This man has no victims. This man's committed no crime. There's no crimes against anybody going on. Wow.
Let me speak to the supervisor.
The supervisor is here, sir.
Well, I want to talk with him.
You want to talk to the supervisor?
Yes.
He can hear. He's
I would like to speak to him.
Okay, sir.
You
do what you're told. You comply with my officers, or you're going to jail. That's it. This doesn't have to be that hard.
So the supervisor's just a bigger Jackboot Thug Pig dickhead than the cop standing in front of him. When you ask for a supervisor, you just get a bigger asshole.
You're told. You comply with my officers, or you're going to jail.
Do as you're told. Forget your rights. We don't uphold any constitution. Do as you're told. Look at the torture cuffs. Look at what a moron this guy looks like. Look at what a moron this piece of shit looks like. Look at him dressed up like he's got two clips on the how many times is he boom, 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 reload, boom, 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 reload, boom, 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 boom. What the hell are we doing here? These guys have military G.I. Joe loser fantasies. Look at what he's wearing. Look at that. Where's the grenade, bro? You need a grenade too, don't you? Maybe a bazooka, a rocket launcher? You need something on your body besides just your multiple magazines for your... Look at what that loser's wearing. Take a look. Multiple magazines? Fallujah! Boom, 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 boom. This guy's dreaming of going to Iraq, going back to the Middle East where he can shoot people without getting in trouble for it.
That's it. This doesn't have to be that hard.
You're sworn into.
His driver's
I have not committed any crime.
He doesn't know how to talk to the cops and use his Fifth Amendment right. Why didn't he invoke his Fifth Amendment?
Okay, that's it. Get him out of the car. He's going to jail. Sir, we will be breaking your glass and taking you to jail for failing to identify your driver's license.
We'll be breaking your glass. Why can't you just sit there for a minute and wait him out? You got nothing else to do, obviously. If this is the most important thing in the world, then just leave him alone and just wait. Put a siege on him, put a boot on his car and walk away. Literally bring the boot company in, put a boot on his car so it can't move, and walk away. We're going to get you when you get out of the car.
Okay.
Well,
my partner is
you're going to violate my rights.
We're not violating anything, sir.
You're going to violate my rights.
No, we're not. You were stopped for public display of plate. You do have a plate, but it's not a valid plate.
So just so you know, this is the foreplay before he gets to come in his pants.
You were stopped for public display of plate. You do have a plate, but it's not a valid plate. So
you can break my window.
Sir.
That's fucked up. Look at that. Violated my rights, you guys.
What a psycho.
That's fucked up. That is really fucked
Cars
up.
unlocked. All right, sir. Step out the car.
Can I take these with me?
You can take them with you. Step out the car. Face away. Face away.
Okay, can I put these in my pocket?
Let go of your left hand. Let go of your left hand.
Look at what they're doing to him for not having a driver's license. Now, do you guys understand? I don't agree with the driver's license scam. I think the driver's license scam is exactly what it is. I'm with you. I know the driver's license scam is a scam, but I'm a leader. My job is to make sure that you don't go to the dungeon. That's what my job is. I'm not supposed to lead you the wrong way. I'm not supposed to walk you into the dungeon. Now, if you want to challenge Pennsylvania versus Mims, we've had some talks about that. Your license, registration, and proof of insurance goes in one card. Whether this is a slip that you fold in half and you have to fold and put your registration in there, whatever it is, everything goes on one card. And if you don't have a driver's license, then you put your ID on there and you give them that. If you're operating a motor vehicle, and I don't agree with it, I don't think it's right that the driver's license scam from the 1915 case of Hendricks versus Maryland, I know it's a scam. I'm with you. I think we have the right to travel. That's not my job, though, as a leader. My job is not to walk you into a dungeon or walk you into torture cuffs. That's not what I'm supposed to do. First rule is what? Do no harm. Do no harm to yourself. Do no harm to others. That's the first rule. You don't think that I get mad and I want to harm other people? Sure I do. I see red in my eyes, and then I realize you're past this. Your job's not to fist fight people or wrestle pigs. Your job is to change the system. I'm supposed to become governor and change this system. Change this for one state, and it could extrapolate across all the other 49 states. My job is to be the agent of change, and my job is to do no harm. My job is not to walk you into the torture cuffs or walk you into your window getting burst. Because if this guy had his registration, which you can register your car, and he had his identification on a card, and he gave that Jackboot Thug Pig his identification and his registration, he may not have busted his window out. If you don't want to get a driver's license, that's fine. Put your identification on there so that your windows don't get broken out and you don't get beat up. I mean, how many of you guys watch my channel all the time? All the time. I will never ask you to put yourself in a position that you are going to be torture cuffed. Well, unless we're going to go stand our ground and we're not going to give up and we know that we're going to go to jail and we're going to do it together as a group. But we're not going to go to jail for violence. We're not going to go to jail because we didn't follow the process. We're going to go to jail because we conscientiously objected and we disagreed. Like dancing in the memorial. You're not allowed to dance in the Lincoln Memorial. Well, I would go to the Lincoln Memorial and I would dance. And if they want to arrest me for it, then do it. But I'm going to dance there if I want. I'll do whatever I want. I'm free. And that has to change. That absolutely has to change. You should have your stuff put together. You should have your license, registration, proof of insurance put together. It should be done like this. And these things should go inside your trifold that I either gave to you for free, or you bought a $9 version that you printed at home, or you bought this fancy $30 version that comes with this super fancy broccoli wad rubber band. So everything goes over your visor so that your hands never, ever, ever go below touchdown position. See my elbows and my arms makes a perfect touchdown position, like a field goal. Then when the cop comes up, you're like this. I mean, I prefer it like this. I prefer that you're, let me just change it. I don't want people to see what's on my screen cover here. This is how you're filming, just like this. You're filming yourself so that if you get hit in the head or shot in the head or beaten or kicked, that I can see and we can see what happened to you. And then even if you don't have a driver's license and you want to be a traveler, that's fine. But still, please have a copy of your identification on you if you're operating a car, because if you don't, then you're going to get beat up, hurt, put in torture cuffs, and taken into a dungeon. Now, if you want to do it, get arrested and try to challenge the system, hey, be a freedom fighter, baby. I'm all for you. But then we know that we'll be covering your video. As you know, you'll be covering my video the next time I get arrested, because I'm going to stand my ground. So I respect what you do. I just want to make sure that people who don't want to go to jail and don't want to get arrested, even though they believe that they have the right to travel, that doesn't mean you can't put your ID on a card. Fair enough? Is that fair? I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure I'm being fair here. You need the trifold, though. That's the whole point. You need it. Whether I gave it to you or you bought it, you need it. It's real. It's very real.
Man, don't break my phone, please.
On the phone. All right, so you're being placed under arrest for failing to identify your driver's license.
So he was being arrested for failing to identify. It was Jefferson Memorial, not Lincoln Memorial. Sorry about that.
Come in front of my car, sir.
All black. Jackboot Thug Pig tyrants. Now, where's that man? He's in torture cuffs in the back of a cage.
Can you put that in my holder so it don't get destroyed?
I'll grab everything for you, sir, okay?
Well, I just don't want it to get wet and get destroyed.
Absolutely. What's the matter, you? Absolutely. We're going to watch that. I'm going to come back.
Did you hear about the story with Adam?
We heard, but hold on 1 second. Let me take a look at what's the matter you said here. So what's the matter you said right there. I wondered about that. So at least there's a small chance the trifold could prevent towing if you stopped with no license. It's not the trifold that's going to stop the towing or stop you being arrested if you operate a motorized vehicle without a government issued driver's license. What will stop you being arrested and stop possibly you being towed, what could possibly mitigate those factors, is if you did have your identification and you were willing to identify yourself. That could mitigate the factors of you being arrested. And you heard him, he's being arrested for failing to ID. If he had his identification and his registration on a card, then maybe, I mean, we are living in an absolute jackboot thug pig police state. So yeah, what's the matter you? But you use it properly. Use it properly. You have everything prepared is what I mean when you use it properly. Everything's up in your visor. You're filming. You guys see how when I talk to cops and they pull me over, how you doing? Yep. Okay. I'm 1/10 of my energy because I'm not going to take my real energy form until I've already put him in his place by using my rights on the trifold, by using my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. I put it on camera and I put it in his face. Now, after I've invoked my Fifth Amendment right, my First Amendment right, let him know this is a police protest. Now I'm going to become the animal that I am. So if you don't know about Adam Kokich, someone just said this earlier in the chat, and I wanted to show this video because when I saw this years ago, my blood boiled so badly. And I was like, man, there's going to be someday I'm going to be a freedom fighter just like Adam. And I really respect and like what Adam has done.
Adam Kokesh, who's a host on RT.
A little bit.
He was
pretty crazy stuff.
There was this kind of like silent dancing flash mob at the Jefferson Memorial where people were listening to music in headphones and just dancing. And they were actually arrested. It's an unbelievable story. And I actually saw Adam's ticket or citation from the police. And for the reason why he was arrested, it actually says dancing in a restricted area, which at face value looks hilarious. But the other funny part about it is that is there really a legal definition for dancing? In other words, if you're tapping your foot to music you're listening to in headphones, legally, is that dancing? Or what about if you're clapping to the beat of something you're listening in your headphones? Is that dancing legally? How can you be cited for dancing? I don't really get it. I have video of it here for our TV audience. When you watch this, Adam is dancing in the background, and you'll see that people are being arrested left and right. And while this is going on, silent. I mean, there's no noise. Adam is dancing in the background, and he does get body slammed, literally choke slammed by police. Let's take a listen to a little bit of this here. There's Adam dancing. People being arrested.
He's got white man syndrome. Some white guys can dance.
A lot of echo in that Jefferson Memorial.
These cops just have no idea what to do. They're completely overwhelmed.
Oh, hold on a second. That's Medea Benjamin, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think that is. Let me go back. Does that look like Medea Benjamin to you guys? I think it is, yeah. And Natan's mic is off, but
I don't know who any of these people on the hard right are, but I respect that they did this.
I can hear, unfortunately, agreeing that is who
Wow,
it
these
is.
cops are ridiculous.
And then here Adam gets choke slammed, I believe. And then he goes back. He continues dancing.
Is that dancing? The guy waving his hands. Watch.
And then he goes back. He continues.
Is that considered dancing?
He's dancing.
That's dancing. Dance was my minor in college, so that's not dancing.
I have a hard time seeing how this is not police brutality.
Well, they're arguing that it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, they arrest.
Don't just turn around and put your hands behind your back. Don't just give up. Don't just give in to the government. We're going to have to fight back at some level. That doesn't mean a physical fight. That means I'm just going to resist ever so slightly. I'm not just going to turn around and agree to go to the dungeon.
It looked like it must have been 20 people, and then they were actually pushing people that were filming. There was an NBC cameraman filming. He was actually kind of like chest bumped, you know, the way police do, right out the door.
Javelin.
And NBC didn't even air it. I mean, really, NBC, my speculation is that NBC is actually afraid to anger the police over this because they didn't even report on the fact that their own cameraman was pushed out of the way. Dancing silently now, you can be cited for. It's a restricted area. You can't dance in a restricted area.
You can be like slammed, choked, tackled, have someone's knee in the back of your neck facing the cement.
Yeah, but no dancing. Absolutely no dancing, Lewis. We're going to follow this one, and it obviously brings up a lot of questions about what exactly is going on there in Washington, D.C. with this dancing.
Man, these park police.
They don't mess around. The park police are serious, quite clearly.
Yeah.
You know what I was listening to, which
these guys just...
Oh, what happened to the actual dancing, though? I want. They don't show the choke slam, huh? They don't show the choke slam. Let me see if I can get it here. God bless it. I'm so sorry, y'all. I wanted to see. They actually they attack Adam Kokich from behind, and they choke slam him on the ground. And for me, I was like, wait a minute, what are we doing here? Adam Kokich arrested for dancing. I think I have another version here. This is on TYT. So we went. It's so funny. Went from a hard right podcast, Pac-Man, to a hard left podcast, The Young Turks. I identify with neither side. I identify with Constitution, and I identify with freedom, and I identify that we all free and have liberty given to us by God at birth. That's my position. I don't buy into this left-right paradigm bullshit. That's why I'm voting for Robert Kennedy Jr. Even though he's against our gun rights, it doesn't look like he'll be able to do a damn thing with the Supreme Court. Nothing. And they're going to be on the Supreme Court for the next 20 years more. All those folks on the Supreme Court now are going to stay there. They're going to stay there. And so I'm going to vote for Robert Kennedy Jr. because I'm so sick of the left and the right paradigm. I'm so sick of Republicans and Democrats. Just sick of them. Remember, how did the cops get the body cam in your city or state? It was Republicans and Democrats. How did the FBI get the body cam footage that you don't get? Republicans and Democrats. How did your rights get stripped from you? Republicans and Democrats. They rubber stamp to give our rights to the cops. So I'm not down. I don't support Republicans and Democrats.
I'm a big fan of too. You know,
All right. Give you your warnings. If you come out here and you demonstrate by dancing,
You demonstrate by dancing? What a psycho.
you'll be placed under arrest. Does everybody understand? Does everybody understand? If you live more than 50 miles away from the District of Columbia, you can spend the night, the weekend in jail. The whole weekend? Yes. Does everybody understand that?
Sir, that's illegal. What would we be charged with?
You are too far away from the city to allow citation to reappear. Therefore, they lock you up and hold you for court.
What he's asking is a violation.
We'll find out.
What law is that?
You'll find out. They lock you up and hold you.
Are too far away from the city to allow citation to reappear. Therefore, they lock you up.
They lock you up.
Hold you.
Lock you up and hold you in a cage. No victim of crime. No threats of victim of doing a crime. No danger to anybody. You'll do no harm to yourself or others.
What he's asking is a violation.
We'll find out.
What law is that?
You'll find out.
I'm just giving you your warnings right now. Telling us to arrest us.
And look how frustrated this pig is. If he just let people be free, we wouldn't need. Look at all the pigs there. We don't need any of them there. People are free to dance in the Jefferson Memorial all they want.
But you're not telling us. We're not demonstrating.
If you're dancing in here,
what is dancing? What is dancing? What if you're out of time and you're making movements with your body?
Whoa,
still dancing.
hey.
Oh, wait a second. You can go to jail for doing that.
You're not allowed to have free expression or free speech in the memorial to Thomas Jefferson, the champion of free speech.
We're moving, man. We're in love. We're stopping. We're stopping. What are you doing? We're stopping. What are you doing? Not arresting us for standing
For
here.
what? You didn't even give me a warning.
I didn't even give you a warning.
So here's the other thing. Why do you have to be shackled with your arms behind your back if you're conscientiously objected? You went there to get arrested. You went there to prove your point. A rubber band around your wrists at the most with a camera would change that.
What they're
Pistol
doing is
Pete.
they're commemorating something that happened in 2008. It was a woman had been dancing there and she got arrested. And U.S. District Judge John Bates ruled that dancing at the site was not permitted. Why? What? It was Thomas Jefferson anti-dancing? Okay. I mean, of all places, the Jefferson Memorial.
Right. But also, I mean,
The guy who wrote the Declaration of Independence, one of our founding fathers, the guy who was Virginia, the Bill of Rights, James Madison, Thomas Jefferson, etc. And Adam Kokesh is one of the hosts at RT, and he was there as well. And that's, you're seeing Adam versus the Man right there, that logo, that's his show. So let's watch what happens to him.
So let me jump in here real quick, okay? I'm gonna jump in and I'm gonna say something here. Okay, I'm never gonna advise you to fight against government officials. I mean, never is a big word. If we go into a full-on revolution, which I think we may one day, then for the love of God, fight. However, until that happens, I'm not going to advise you to fight government officials, and I'm not advising you to do that now. What I am advising you to do is protect yourself at all times. Protect yourself at all times. So for me, as a grappler, a fighter, my whole life, my elbows aren't going to come away from my sides. I'm not going to let any man lock around my waist. I don't care if you're the cops or not. You can get my arms behind my back. Even then, we shouldn't allow it. But the point is Adam here does not defend himself at all times. It's protect yourself at all times. And it's always protect yourself at all times. That's why it's illogical and unnatural to get people to lay on their belly and put their hands behind their back and don't tense up. It's just so stupid. That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. Are you tensing up? If you grab anybody, they're going to tense up. Anybody at any time, they're going to tense up. So Adam doesn't protect himself at all times here, and watch what happens.
This is your last warning.
Jesus.
This is your last warning.
He allowed the guy to get his arms locked around his waist.
This is your last warning.
Jeez.
This is your last warning.
Don't look at the knee in the stomach, hand on the throat. He's still now he drops the knee. Watch that knee. There's the knee on. Now just watch the knee on him and watch him bring the knee up and drop it back down.
This is your last warning.
Did you see it?
Jeez. This is your last warning. Turn him over.
It's an attack. He's still got his hand on his throat. Look at that. Breathe with me. 2 in. 1 out. Look, you and I have allowed this because they only did it to blacks. It was okay. No big deal. Just Blackie. Oh, it's Tyrone? Oh, Tyrone? You had to stick your knee on Tyrone's neck? No problem. I understand that. Them blacks, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got to make sure we put the knees on the necks of them blacks. But that was 1950s, 1960s, 1970s, 1980s, 1990s. Same policies and procedures. Your brain was conditioned to think it's okay because it was always okay to do that to blacks in the streets. The black guy's not obeying the cop. Well, then cop can do whatever the hell he wants to do to him. And now you're seeing that Adam Kokich, who is someone on the right, he works for RT, so it's called right. Look what they're doing to him. They slam him, choke him, and then stick their knees in the back of his neck. Well, where did the cops learn that? Those are the policies, procedures, and practices that they used against black people. And we learned to accept it by seeing it done to blacks. Remember the video after J6 where the guy gets arrested and he says, "You're treating me like a black person"? Put a 1 in the chat if you guys remember that video. Put a 1 in the chat where the white guy's getting arrested at the airport and he says, "You're treating me like a black person." Never more telling, was it? And now the things that I'm saying should start to rattle around in your brain. Let me announce the winner for the 5A cop card. The winner for the 5A cop card. It was after Lars 709. I remember this time. You guys are going to have to remind me of the last one. There's 3 winners, and I don't know who they are. So you guys are going to have to remember. It's going to be 709 is 710. Lars was 709. After Lars 709 is Rick 710. Rick 710. So that's going to be Rick located in Utah. Rick N located in Utah. You won the 5A cop card, my friend. That means when I get off this live stream, I'm going to be sending you both the non-driver and driver 5A cop card, Rick. You have won the lottery. The lottery. It's a lottery now. You actually win millions of dollars, millions and millions. You take this right here, you rub it together real fast, and you get warm. Oh, God. God help us all.
Those are mine. 103 starters.
Look, now the Park Police Office of Professional Responsibility and Officer Responsibility is saying that they're going to look into whether these arrests were too aggressive, in how they, like, for example, body slammed that guy and started choking him because he was illegally dancing at the Jefferson Memorial.
But this just sounds like a parody. It doesn't sound like of all places. And in of all countries, of all districts in the entire world, really here?
Yeah, and the thing is, Tina, it's like it's kind of almost a goofy story because it's so weird, right? But at the same time, it's actually scary because
It's real.
You know,
it's happening.
We're turning into a police state, and now
We're turning into a police state. We are a police state. Look, they're dragging someone off for dancing in the background.
now everything is not permissible, and how could dancing not be a form of expression? I don't know.
What law did we break? No, there was no dancing allowed. And it's like, I mean, it sounds like the setup to like, breaking breaking down the law.
Right. And no dissent is allowed, right? And even in literally the most benign dissent I could imagine is not allowed. And who cares? You don't need to cite a law. You don't need to cite anything. And then when making the arrest of somebody illegally dancing, you slam him to the ground and you choke him. I mean, I was shocked he didn't get.
So which judge was this that did this? They said earlier.
I'm a big fan of Thomas Jefferson. And
so I just want to get the judge's order that created this.
Of the flash mobs. Now, I'm not a fan of the flash mobs. I think it's like, enough.
That's an old thing. Now it's flash looting.
Already with people dancing in public. Like, I get it. It was really cool 3 years ago. Please stop doing it. I don't want to see the videos.
It doesn't happen anymore. Now it's flash looting.
More. However, there are a group of people who just wanted to dance. Apparently were dancing silently. And then this happened.
Is there somebody that's leading y'all here, or y'all just? Is this the group? We're still group. All right. Give you your warnings. If you come out here and you demonstrate by dancing, you'll be placed on the list.
I just want to get the judge's name real quick. We're just 1 second here.
Understand?
I'm going to see if this order can be challenged.
If you live more than 50 miles away from the District of Columbia, you can spend the night, the weekend in jail. The whole weekend? Yes. So does everybody understand that?
Sir, that's illegal. What would we be charged with?
You are too far away from the city to allow citation to reappear. Therefore, they lock you up and hold you for court.
What he's asking is a violation.
We'll find out.
What law is that?
Sir, I'm just giving you your warnings right now.
You're telling us to arrest us, but you're not telling us. We're not doing law.
If you're dancing in here, we're demonstrating.
What is dancing? What is dancing? What if you're out of time and you're making movements with your body?
Whoa, hey.
Oh, wait a second.
Shoot me an email, Greg. I'll take care of it. We'll do PayPal, Venmo, Cash App with something, and I'll get that fixed for you.
You can go to jail for doing that. You're not allowed to have free expression or free speech in the memorial to Thomas Jefferson, the champion of free speech.
We're moving, man. We're in love. We're stopping.
That's crazy. It's really
You're
crazy.
not arresting us for standing.
He said the judge's order. I want to find which judge it was.
I didn't even give you a warning.
What they're doing is they're commemorating something that happened in 2008. It was a woman had been dancing there.
Okay.
And she got arrested. And U.S. District Judge John Bates.
Okay, there it is. Thanks for your patience. I appreciate it. Go to your pillow, Charlie. Go on. Go on. Go get on your pillow. Go on. U.S. District Judge John Bates says inside the memorial is not a public forum. Dancing at the memorial isn't free speech, rules judge. Unmoved, U.S. Judge John Bates ruled that Overton's arrest was not a violation of her First Amendment right. I mean, look, it's throughout the history of time these judges have screwed us over. A federal judge on Monday threw out the lawsuit of a woman arrested in 2008 for dancing with 17 others inside the memorial. God, if I had time to do everything I wanted to do, I don't have time to do all the things that I want to do and I want to accomplish. I just don't have time. There's so many things that I want to do. And, just to do the paperwork and all the things that I do, it takes me so much time, and I can only do it with y'all's help. So I announced the last winner of the 5A cop card. I believe that's Rick. I'm sorry, was it Rick? Who did I announce it was? Yeah, Rick N. Rick N in Utah. You're the winner. It's just too much. It's just too much. I'm going to send this off to you right now, Rick. I'm going to send you the 5A cop card in paper form right now so that you have it. And then I'm also going to send it to Daniel in Florida. Check your email. I'm sending you a bunch of free stuff in the email right now. Thanks for ordering something from my website, man. I really appreciate it. I don't miss anybody. And that's why I changed my shipping process now so that my orders will be at your house in a week, 10 days if you live in Florida or New York or Connecticut. But for the most part, I took over my shipping because I just can't have it where it takes 2 weeks. You shouldn't have to wait 2 weeks. So I had to change it. I mean, I have to just pay somebody to do the shipping for me every single day. But that's what I've done. I created a way for someone to just do it for me every day. So anyway, all right. I guess we're just over 3 hours. And then there was 3 winners of the 5A cop card, and I don't remember the name. You know I want to give them away. You know I want to. I want to give them away. You know? Good news, huh, Jim? What is going on? What is going on out there? Listen, all I can do is this. I can help you by educating you and showing you exactly how we got to this point. And then I can run for office as the governor, as the executive of a state, and change the police policies from the top down. That includes the prison policies. I'll list it again. I'm going to get cameras in the courtroom. I'm going to get a clock in every single jail and prison there is in every single room. I'm going to ban that torture chair immediately. I'm going to ban the torture cuffs immediately. So I'm going to have a huge fight when I run for governor against the tyrannical torture chain companies. The torture chain companies are multi-billion-dollar corporations. Those torture cuffs they make, those are multi-billion-dollar corporations. That's why we can't get rid of the torture cuffs, and they just keep on improving them for officer safety, but not for your and I safety. So those are just a few things I'm going to do immediately when I'm governor. Immediately. So we just have to get there. We got to get there. See, that's what I'm saying. There's other things I have to do. I want to take on this Judge Bates holding, but that means I would have to go to the Jefferson Memorial. I'd have to dance. Then I'd have to get arrested for dancing. And then I would be able to challenge it in federal court. And as you can see, the judges are working against us constantly. They're constantly working against us. I'm going to have to go back and watch this live stream to see where I said the next 3 people after this name, because I only have 7 names here right now, and I'm supposed to have 10. I'm supposed to have 10. God. We don't stop. Do me a favor. Everybody type that in the comment section. We don't stop. We don't stop. We don't stop. We don't mother stop. Under any circumstances, under any conditions, we do not back down. We do not say die. There's no point. I'll die when I'm dead. Like John Felix said, I get more sleep now because I've had to, because of my blood pressure, but I'll sleep when I'm dead. Jim, Vertus, Aristo, James, Greg, Scrubzilla, Ghost, Brick, Walter, Deb, April, Joe, Roger, put it in there. Joe, Dan Hanlon, put it in there. We don't stop. Michelle, put it in there. Let me read your name out loud. Put it in there. Just throw it in there. We don't stop. I won't stop, says Michael. Deb, Kevin, Greg, Christopher Reel, we don't stop. Les Paul, we don't stop. I'm just reading comments right here, right now. Michael Dolans, we don't stop. We do not stop. We do not stop. Well, I miss Chevy today. I miss saying Chevy. Chevy. Where you at, Chevy? All right, so my release for the people for the Upper Peninsula for the Lauren Wickman, I showed it yesterday, but I'm going to release the video on Saturday afternoon. If you're in the Upper Peninsula in Michigan, or you can let people in Delta County know that I'll be releasing the Lauren Wickman exposure on Saturday. I'll release the video in entirety on Saturday. All right. What's the matter, you? What's the matter, you? What's the matter, you? All right. I'm going to get Gabe. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for coming. Deb, I'm so happy. I didn't get to say his name and I wanted to. Jeff Hates Pigs. Where's Jeff Hates Pigs? Where's Jeff Hates Pigs? Jeff Hates Pigs. Gloria, I didn't see Gloria in here. Missing V. Boyer, haven't seen Marcy Fox. What's going on, Dr. Donna Walter? You know, earlier I know that you know, there's a lot of personalities on YouTube. You know, in the comment section when I'm live is not to have some sort of debate about whatever. You know, it's just so silly to me. I wonder where Gloria is. Gloria, I mailed you your 5A cop card. If you see this video later, Gloria, I dropped your 5A cop card in the mail. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. I've never stopped, says B8. B8 says I've never stopped. Yep, Deb. So that video exposing Lauren Wickman, just the video itself, it's like 40 minutes long. It comes out on Saturday. All righty. Jeff Hates Pigs was in here before. I didn't see him. CC, we shouldn't have to start, but we don't stop. Did everybody get my product? Did everybody get my trifold? If you didn't get my trifold, you didn't purchase my trifold, go to my website, go to inquiry and put free trifold on the inquiry and I'll email it to you. That way you have it in your car. You can print it out. You'll have multiple. I'll show you guys one more thing and then I really will get the flock out of Dodge here. I want to show you guys this. Here's how dead serious I am. You think I'm joking? Well, I guess you guys know that I'm not joking. Here it is right there. Let me share this screen with you. What I tell you, I said, whether you get my trifold, you purchase it for $9 and then you have the PDF on your file, digital print at home, whether you buy it for $30 or whether I send it to you in the mail, I ask you guys to print them out and share them with your friends and family. Do you see what this gentleman did right here? He did it. He did exactly what I asked him to do. He sent me a picture of it. He said, Chille, I did exactly what you wanted, man. I printed out a bunch. I gave one to each one of my friends and family members. That's how you do it. He did exactly as I asked and printed out several for his friends and family. Everybody needs a trifold in their car. You have to have it in your car. It is no skin off my back for you to print out multiple and give them to your friends and family. It so matters to you. It so matters to them. It's the difference between you going to a dungeon or not going to a dungeon. It is absolutely huge. You have got to print out several and give them to friends and family. I mean, let me ask you guys a question. Have you ever heard of anybody else saying, hey, get my product and then distribute it to your friends and family? Have you ever heard that before? Has anybody ever told you that? Have you ever purchased a product from someone and then they said, go ahead and replicate it and then give it to all your friends and family? You ever heard that before? Why do you think I'm doing that? I mean, look, yeah, I'm a human being. I could use the $9 from every person. It's not about me. This is how I make a living, but this is not about me. This is about us. This is about us together. This is about you going to someone, you printed out the trifold and you going, hey, Billy, listen, man, I know the cops hemmed you up last week. I've been watching this channel. I want to give this to you. Put it in your car. Check out this guy's video. He shows you how to use touchdown position, how to use your camera. I know you hate cops, Billy. I got this for you, bro. And then when he sees my channel, he's going to be like, that's so awesome that you did this for me. It's not about me. I wish it was. I love it when it's about me. Don't you love it when it's about you? And everybody's like, oh, Javelin, it's all about you. Adam, it's all about you. Kevin, it's all about you. April, it's all about you. You know, it's nice when it's all about you. Avery Flowers, when it's all about Avery. Avery's a wrestler too. So that's the fun part about being a wrestler. When you step on the mat in front of the entire stadium of people, it's just you and one other guy. You got to beat me. It's great. It's the best feeling I've ever had. I wish I was young enough to still throw down, but I'm middle-aged, you know. I got to adapt into being a man now, into the manhood that I am. One big risk taker. All right. All righty. All right. Get off me. Get off me. You looking soft, bro. You're looking soft. I'm just saying, you look a little soft. I mean, you could tighten up a little bit. That's all I'm saying. You could tighten up a little bit. So, broke my fast yesterday on day 8. I was so shredded yesterday, and I woke up today after eating, and I'm not nearly as shredded. Not nearly. I mean, my cheeks are even more full, but I woke up this morning, I was starving, but I still am going to go 16 to 18 hours. I'm not going to do, because I think it adds a lot of stress, and I think that raises my blood pressure. Intermittent fasting is amazing, but I think I'm just going to do 16 to 18 hours because I was doing 22 hours of intermittent fasting. I think that causes a level of anxiety inside of me. I don't know. I mean, my blood pressure yesterday, as you guys saw, was down below 130 for the first time in a couple weeks. So, you know, it's just so crazy. It's just so crazy that the changes in my body happen so quickly. And the things that I quit, just so you guys know who are my age or battling high blood pressure, I quit sodium. I quit smoking anything at all. I quit smoking anything, which you guys know I don't smoke cigarettes. So I don't smoke anything. I don't have any sodium, and I don't have any coffee, and I don't have any sugar. Those are the 4 things that I quit. And in 2 weeks, my blood pressure dropped over 60 points. Almost over 70 points. I was 195. I'm down to 127. So I can't do the math. I'm not very smart. So I dropped 70 points by quitting those 4 things. I quit smoking anything. I quit salt. I quit sugar, and I quit caffeine. And I'll tell you what, the hardest thing, and no red meat as well. Milena said it. Yeah. And I also don't do any red meat. I mean, I'm going to do red meat again, but right now I'm just keeping it really lean, white meat. I'm keeping it, chicken, pork, those things. And so I was able to get myself, April says she wants to see it. I'd love to show you. My narcissism has no boundaries. Well, I guess it does. I guess my narcissism does have boundaries, because I'll go shirtless in December when I show you guys when I'm down to like 8% body fat. Right now I'm still probably 20% body fat. So as soon as I get down to 8% body fat, maybe by the end of December, I'll show you guys a shirtless picture, but I don't think I'll show it live on camera. I think I'll just take a picture and put it on Instagram or something, So I guess my narcissism does have some boundaries. I'm lean. It's so cool. I can see all the muscles, but those 4 things, if anybody's battling high blood pressure, that's what I did. And I was able to really have a huge improvement on my own life. So the winners, congratulations. I'm glad you guys won the 5A cop card. If you guys purchased anything from my website during this live stream, I'm super grateful. Thank you so much. All right. I'll be again tomorrow about noon Pacific Standard Time, about noon, 1 o'clock, somewhere in there. Tell your friends and family, come tomorrow so that I can email them everything I sell for free. Tell them, share the trifold, the digital one, and make sure that you print them out. If I send you a digital trifold, it does you no good on your hard drive. If I see you get pulled over and you don't have it in your visor and you didn't get a rubber band, I'm going to be like upset with you. All right. I got to get the flock out of here. I'll see you guys on the next one. Later, Gators.